like you. Do you like me?
This week, Diddy David Cameron endorsed the proposals of eco-hippie millionaire Zach Crazy Name Goldsmith, whose commission recommended a future Tory government should increase taxes on motoring, domestic flights, house improvements, parking at work, parking at the supermarket and 4x4s, thereby guaranteeing Gordon Brown a happy week and ensuring that every single lifelong Tory voter would be coughing up their gentleman's relish wondering what the hell's going on here. A confusion reinforced by our shadowy leader welcoming Baroness Margaret Maggie Thatcher to number 10 for a photo opportunity, a cup of tea, an exchange of views about the state of the world and Britain's position in it, and a photo opportunity, which must have drained any remaining colour from Cameron's face. I would start worrying now, David. It'll save time later. Speaking of worrying, the Bank of England asked us politely if we wouldn't mind not panicking. Financial experts queued up to tell us there's no need to panic. Our dark overlord told us that it would be not prudent to panic, all of which made us panic. And the Rock of the North wobbled. There haven't been lines in the high street that long since Kate Moss unveiled her capsule collection at Topshop. Have you bought any of Kate Moss essentials yet, Luce?
No.
Why not?
I'm too fat.
Which probably does footwear. You could squeeze a pair of strappy sandals over your fat little feet.
She has got fat feet this week.
Speaking of which, London Fashion Week is upon us, and girls who have eating disorders are to be disqualified from working, which for them amounts to clomping down a catwalk in something frightful, looking furious. Size 0 girls, however, will still be allowed to appear if they have a note from their doctor, which they won't be able to produce as they will have eaten it to stave off the hunger pangs. And finally, the F&M debacle raised its ugly head. Not Fortnum & Mason's, foot and mouth. And rather than raising its ugly head, they raised their ugly legs, as piles of upside-down dead cows spoilt the view of our green and pleasant land. Hey, Chief Veterinary Officer... I knew I'd get lost on that word. Chief Veterinary Officer Debbie Reynolds said...
There's no business like show business, like no business I know.
Everything about it is appealing, isn't it? I know it's not Debbie Reynolds, it was Ethel Merman, but I haven't got Debbie Reynolds doing it. I just find it amusing every time that, anything with the cows. Well, first of all, every time I read there's the F&M problem, is it just me? I always think Fortnum & Mason.
I keep thinking you're saying Eminem.
But second, every time the Chief Veterinary Officer Debbie Reynolds' name is announced, I can't stop smirking. I mean, if your name was Debbie Reynolds and you wanted to create an aura of importance around you, wouldn't you call yourself Deborah? Because Debbie Reynolds, I mean, if you say Debbie Reynolds, you're straight to... There's no business like show business.
Yeah.
Deborah, not Debbie. Debbie. It's just silly, isn't it?
It sounds like a sort of porn name, doesn't it? Debbie Reynolds.
Well, I wouldn't have said so, but if that's the way your mind works,
My wicked
fair
mind.
enough. Yeah. It's been a weird week. Putin and Putin's Russia has just—it's like he, you know, those souvenirs that people bring back from somewhere cold that are snow globes.
Yeah, oh yes, that you shake up.
Yeah, it's as though he's taken Russia and shaken it up. He sacked everyone. He dissolved Parliament, did Putin. He just thought it up and did it. This is the man whose country is holding all of the nuclear weapons that no one can place. They're here and there. They're scattered. We had a map. We don't really have one anymore. You know, we put them in a shed. We've got no idea. President Vladimir Putin plunged the political future of Russia into confusion by sacking his government and appointing a virtually unknown bureaucrat as prime minister. This is one of the giant countries of the world, one of the top 5, and it seems to be, I don't know, scary things are going on there, because the other side, well, I'll do this first and then I'll get to his bomb. Did you hear about this big bomb?
Isn't that what leaders do when they're about to go crazy?
Sack everyone.
Sack everyone and put someone Like his...
Well, it's a bit more suspicious than that. Dramatically passing over his powerful deputy prime minister, the Russian president awarded the position to someone called Viktor Zubkov, who no one had ever heard of before, including Viktor Zubkov. The unexpected appointment raises the prospect that a bureaucrat whose name and face are almost totally unknown to the Russian public, not just us, it's not just we haven't got any idea who it is, not even the Russians have any idea. He could emerge as president of the world's largest country. Well, is that true? Russia is the world's largest country.
I guess it could be,
I suppose so, yeah. And until he took back all of the gas and the oil, they didn't have any money at all. He annexed all of the oil, which I think was fair enough. I mean, it was, not pleasant if you happened to be Esso or Shell or any of those people who'd gone in and spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
But he took it back. You know, all of those people that came over here and bought Knightsbridge with the money from the oil that they nicked when they were over there. So he took that back in order that Russia might not, might eat something this evening other than potatoes, which I think was fair enough. So now they're something of a world power again. They've got a lot of money to spend. What are they going to spend it on? They're going to spend it on improving the lot of their impoverished people? No, of course not. They're going to spend it on the military. Hurrah! There was a military festival. That's not the right word. A fair. That's not even the right word.
Sounds like a jolly party.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I'm sure it was. I'm sure the champagne and the hookers were flowing. But apparently Britain is one of the places that you want to come if you want to blow a lot of people up. We do landmines and we do rockets and machine guns and everything that kills people on a large number. We do that. I think the only two industries we've got left are shuffling money from one column to another in order to make money. We don't actually make anything anymore. We just take money from over here and we put it over there. And then a few people in the city who don't pay any tax, they make a ton of money. And the other thing that we make is arms. So we make money and we make the munitions to kill people with. Other than that, I don't think we do a single thing. Everything else we get from China, which is being shipped over here covered in paint that you can't suck. Anyway, that's by the by. And this happened last week, and they had to arrest some people because there was some upset there. There was violence at an ammunitions fair. Well, I mean, the two go perfectly well together. And I was put in mind of the scene in the Peter Sellers film, How I Came to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb, Dr. Strangelove.
Right.
When they're all in the, I think it's the Pentagon.
Yeah.
And they've invited the Russian minister there because the bombs are heading towards Russia. And they can bring them all back apart from one whose radio's bust. And so he's invited the Russian premier to the Pentagon to assure him that they don't really mean it when the bomb goes off, and please don't bomb us back. And there's disruption between the Russian premier and one of the American colonels.
Right.
And one of them stand and they start to tussle. And he says, "You can't fight in here. This is the war room." Anyway, back to Russia. Obliged by the constitution to step down after elections next March, Mr. Putin is widely thought to want to exert influence behind the scenes. So, in other words, he's forced to stand down because he's been Prime Minister for a good long while now.
Yeah.
Are our phones broken, by the way?
I don't think so. No. Would you like me to do a test call?
No. It's like one of the... You met somebody really great at the disco last night, and you gave them their number, gave them your number, and you're waiting, and you're looking at the phone and looking at the phone, and then you have to check to see... You have to get your mobile out to call your own number,
yeah.
just to see if it's still working. Yeah. Anyway, obliged by the Constitution to step down after the elections next March, Mr. Putin is widely thought to want to exert influence behind the scenes, possibly before attempting... See, this is the scary part. This is why he's put this complete unknown in power, is because he's just a patsy to do everything that Putin tells him to, like a puppet on a string, before Putin makes a comeback in 2012, when he will be allowed to stand again. So in other words, he's setting himself up to be the leader of Russia forever. He's reinstalled the dictatorship. As an arch-loyalist and old friend, Mr. Zubkov could be exactly the kind of pliant leader that Mr. Putin needs to fulfill those ambitions. He could, some analysts suggest, even be relied upon to fall on his sword early on in term, either by engineering a crisis or by pleading ill health, thereby allowing the extremely popular Mr. Putin to return in the midst of a national emergency. So, the scary man with helter-skelter in his eyes, he's not going very far. Everybody was breathing a sigh of relief, saying, oh, blimey, thank God, he's gone, because the law over there insists upon it, but he's not going very far. Oh. And, here's the man. I'll come to the bomb in a little bit, which is also very scary stuff. Apart from the name that they've given it, which is quite amusing. Because so I'll do that now. I'll take a call. Hi Wickham. Hi Wickham. Edwina.
Hi Nick. Just seeing a test call to let you know that we are listening.
Cheers, my dear.
And don't forget, when you're talking about Russia and the bomb and everything, that they've announced that they're going to land on the moon 2025. And the Americans have announced they're going to land 2020, so that's going to be very interesting if we're all alive to see what's going to go on there.
Yeah, there'll be parallel parking up there. There'll be so many people.
Anyway, just to let you know, we are listening.
All right, cheers, my dear. Ta-ta. Bye-bye. Putin's bomb, which looks like just the very thing that was in that Peter Sellers film, Dr. Strangelove. There's a picture of it in one of the papers. It looks like a Big Bertha. Russia delivered a belligerent message of defiance to the West last night after army generals claimed to have tested. Now, America has got what they call the American Massive Ordnance Air Blast Bomb, the MOAB, which they've nicknamed MOAB, Mother of All Bombs. Massive Ordnance Air Blast Bomb, Mother of All Bombs. So the Americans have the mother of all bombs, so Russia naturally called theirs the father of all bombs. It's one louder. I mean, this whole thing, it just indicates that these people are insane. Developed in secret, the unchristened bomb, which, well, they have christened it, they call it the father of all bombs, a vacuum device.
They're like schoolboys, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly right.
There's like a bunch of schoolboys.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But that's politics, though. I mean, they're all like that. I mean, they try to... I mean, in this country, we try to give it a stiff upper lip, and, we're
above... public schoolboys.
Yeah, we're above all that. Oh, what? But we're not, at all. It's all... Excuse me. Whoa.
What's your coming back?
I'll tell you what that is. That's, cucumber.
Oh.
And apparently, it's the skin of cucumbers which, form giant amounts of gas in your stomach. I was hiccuping and coughing.
Oh.
Coming here, and I couldn't stop. You know when sometimes you hiccup and you think, I'm going to be one of these people that you read about on the news that have been hiccuping constantly for the last 19 years. People actually do that. Every time I get the hiccups, I think, oh, God, this might not actually stop. But the worst is if you hiccup as you cough, because you've got an explosive gas coming out and in at the same time. I mean, it's such that if you get it wrong, literally the top of your head might actually pop off.
Well, that's when you think you could be sick at the same time, isn't it?
Oh,
it's horrible.
What have you hiccup and belched at the same?
No.
That's pretty
maybe
weird.
that's when I'm thinking when you're nearly sick. Yeah.
Anyway, developed in secret, this is a vacuum device capable of emitting shock waves as powerful as a nuclear weapon. So it's not a nuclear weapon, but it's as big as. It was unveiled with great theatre on state television's main evening broadcast. So we've got Ant and Dec. Thank God, the father of all bombs. So be happy with your television, because it could be a lot worse. Potato results and latest March. You know.
That's proper reality TV.
Yeah, that's right. Test results of the new airborne weapon have shown its efficiency and power is commensurate with a nuclear weapon. It's almost as efficient as if we'd made it ourselves. The main destruction is inflicted by an ultrasonic shock wave and an incredibly high temperature. All that is alive merely evaporates.
My favourite.
Great.
Cheery.
And here's the best bit. Despite its destructive qualities, General Rushkin said the bomb is environmentally friendly.
What?
Has it got a low carbon footprint?
I don't know. The test comes weeks after of increasingly belligerent rhetoric from the Kremlin. Mr. Putin has ordered his long-range nuclear bombers to mount patrols in international airspace for the first time since the Cold War. They've been buzzing our boys. Or we've been having to scramble. I mean, it's a good job we actually spent £82 trillion on those jets, because now we've actually had to reel them out and use them. Because they've got no miles on the clock at all. They've been sitting in there collecting dust. So now we've really got value for money. And they had to go up and say, hey, what are you looking at? It's pretty much exactly like what this is, isn't it?
Don't they show a picture of page 3 or something, I read?
What do you mean?
From the Sun. That's what our boys do.
They showed them a picture of page 3?
They hold it up in the cockpit, yeah.
Why would they do that?
Just for fun.
Well, they wouldn't make them go away, that would make them come hither. But it is, it's like it's playground schoolboy stuff. And the reason that they're doing that, the reason that Putin's got this bomb going, and the reason that he took the oil and the gas back, and the reason that he's got these nuclear bombers up there and, going around the world, and the reason that they planted the flag in the North Pole with the submarine and all of this stuff is also that he can increase his popularity at home so that he will pave his way to running Russia forever. We've got another psychopathic dictator on our hands. Like we need another one of those. Mr. Putin has ordered his long-range nuclear bombers to mount patrols in international airspace for the first time since the Cold War. Last week, Russian Tupolev bombers approached British airspace for the 4th time in 2 months, and sorters have also been flown close to US military installations. The new bomb is further proof that Russia's military has regained its technological edge. New ground and sea-launched nuclear missiles have also been developed. And with America spending all of its money on doing business over there, which, by the way, they're saying job done. You know, they said job done a little while ago. Well, now they're saying now it really is job done. Everything's super peachy over here, and it's nothing but flowers as far as the eye can see. And they're bringing all our troops back. But it's not cutting and running, they say. It's a result of the excellence of the performance of their boys out there. No, it's not. It's like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Let's just get out of there. It's become too unpopular. But Putin, on the other hand, is doing almost exactly the same thing, saber-rattling, and his popularity is going up. Bush's is going down.
It's about time.
Whoopee, we're all going to die.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Well, let's get back to it.
Oh, hey, Mandy.
Hi, Nick.
Mandy.
I never realized how happy you made me.
Oh, Mandy.
Thank you. How are you today?
I'm great, mate.
Good. Did you watch it, Millionaire?
Yes, I did.
I know a lot about lots of things.
And, actually, she just got really, really lucky.
It was good.
I enjoyed it. We're talking about Carol McGiffin, who was on Millionaire the other day. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yeah.
And she actually did really well.
It was good.
In the sense that she came off looking good.
Yeah.
By which I don't mean that she looked like a giant brain on a stick, but she just looked very likeable. You warmed to her. She looked good. She looked like she was wearing. It looks like she came in chainmail, like she was wearing a dead metal armadillo. I don't know where she got it. It must have been incredibly expensive. What a dress that was.
I think she looked great.
Yeah, she did. Yes, she did. She looked very tanned, like she'd barely ever set foot in this country. She's always away. And I thought the questions were unnecessarily harsh.
Did you?
I wouldn't have got most of those questions that they gave them. I mean, I can't remember what they were. I wish I'd written them down, actually. But there was things like, just stuff that no one would know as general knowledge. You just have to hazard a wild guess.
The other woman she was with seemed to know a lot as well.
Well, no, I don't think that's correct. She knew the answer to one question, which was, I think, about Shakespeare.
Yeah.
But then you could have just worked that out. Yeah, something about a friar.
Yeah, and the answer was
Romeo and Juliet. That's right.
Well, I would never have got that.
No, but you could have guessed it, which I think that's. I mean, it's just one of those things. You either know it or you don't.
Yeah.
But if the object of the exercise was to come off looking good, looking warm in making the general public warm to you, then I think Carol did a tremendous job.
Yeah.
The woman that she was with, on the other hand, really annoyed me. Oh, she got up my nose from the moment she started speaking.
Really?
What a nightmare. She'd gone on, I don't know, maybe she'd had a chat with her agent just before she went on, and they said, get as much screen time, get as much face time as you can, babe. They would have said something like that. And so she came on, and she just did not stop talking, and Carol just sort of sat there bemused, because this woman was just wittering on, as though the words didn't matter, it's just the noise. If she makes a lot of noise, then the camera will zoom in on her.
I can't even think of her name.
Oh, she was chattering away like a bird. No, I've got no idea who she was either.
She was another loose woman, I know that.
Yeah. I think there's an ever-changing lineup over there, isn't there?
Somebody. Is it Sherry?
I've no idea. But anyway, I find her deeply, deeply annoying. And Carol, by taking a back seat and not trying to compete with her for loudness, came off really, really well. Yeah, I thought you did really well, Carol. I love you.
Yeah.
I smiled a lot, I must admit.
Yeah.
It was very good.
Well, I'm glad that and so did Carol, by the way. Did you see the last shot of her going off the stage?
She was really chuffed.
She was in hysterics.
I know, it was great. It was great.
Yeah, it was great.
I didn't smile this morning, however.
Why not?
I've got a brand new... Let's try again. Brand new car. And I live in a nice block of flats, not a horrible block. Privately owned block of flats.
Mm-hmm.
And parked outside. And got in it this morning. And you know when your wing mirror is bent back, so you think, oh, someone's just bent it back.
Yeah.
So I went round to push it back the other way on the passenger side. It was not only bent back, it was smashed and broken.
Oh, no. Really?
By somebody, I think it was a white van man, because it was all white paint.
Well, you should have read the note that they left on your windscreens.
Oh, yeah, like hell. Have you ever done that?
Well, I've never bashed into anyone. The only accidents I've ever had are reversing out of my own garage.
Oh.
Twice.
Oh.
Well, I turned the wheel too quickly, and take the front wing of the car off.
Oh. Well, somebody took my wing mirror off, which is going to cost me about 200 quid.
Well, there's nothing I can do about that, Mandy.
No, but it didn't make me very happy.
No, right.
Nice
Yeah,
day.
you seem still miserable.
No, I'm really happy.
Oh, okay.
I'm happy talking to you.
All right.
I'm always happy talking to you.
But what a day, though. I mean, you know what? I think everyone, including myself, was very upset about the summer.
Well,
it's been rubbish. But September has saved our summer.
But they keep saying from tomorrow it's going to become very autumnal.
Really?
Yes. 15 degrees all next week.
Oh, no!
Oh, yes. Heating on.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes, darling. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, I am going to go out and buy... I'm going to go out and buy some electric blankets so I can continue to sit outside. Huh?
I know, you said the other day, it made me laugh. I've got an electric blanket on my bed. I couldn't live without it.
Mm.
But, go and get your woolies out.
Well, I never put them away, actually.
Oh, didn't you? It wasn't really summer, was it, to put them away?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. There was never a good long stretch that I thought, oh, well, I might as well change the wardrobe round. No.
No?
But, yeah, okay, well, really?
Yeah.
15?
15.
Okay, then.
And wet and windy.
Wet and windy?
I think so.
Well, talk about the harbinger of bad news. I mean, I know you had your mirror smashed, but...
Well, I want to watch Country File, because they always give a good weather report on a Sunday morning. I'm going to watch that tomorrow. But
they're getting the same information as everybody else is. And the information that everybody else is getting is so unreliable that they can't tell you what it's like right now.
I just don't like this word that it's going to be autumnal.
Autumnal, yeah, well, you better get used to it. It's the middle of September. Before you know it, it'll be...
Christmas.
Well, I was going to say, bonfire night. What's it called?
Fireworks.
Yeah, Guy Fawkes night. Fireworks night.
Halloween first.
Yeah, Halloween first, that's right.
Then fireworks.
Well, first, the clocks go back.
That's so depressing. Isn't it depressing?
See, I was in an excellent mood before talking to you, Mandy.
I'm sorry, but that's horrible. I love it when the clocks go forward.
Yeah. But we've got a long wait to go. 6 months.
No, they go forward the last Saturday in March.
Right. Well, where are we now? October, November, January, February, March. 6 months.
But they haven't gone back yet. They go back the last Saturday in October.
Right, listen, I'm gonna, just will you cheer up, dear?
I am fine.
This is you, fine?
A slow commute.
I know a lot about lots of things.
Stepney, hello, Dave.
Hello, Nick, all right, mate?
I am all right, thanks.
Good. Nick, last week, about your second or third from last call, you had a fella phoned up, and he was a karaoke man, and he was going to do it at a funeral.
That's right.
Yeah. Can you put a call out to him to phone in? Because I've been thinking about it, or funny, I've been thinking about it today. How did he get away with doing that? How did you do a karaoke at a funeral?
Okay, well, what it was, apparently he'd been asked to do it, because wasn't it the last wish of the person whose funeral it was?
That's right, yeah.
That they do a karaoke at his wake.
Yeah, but actually, what's he start off with? I will survive.
Oh, you've been thinking about that all week, haven't you?
No, it just comes to me there.
Oh, right.
What do you do? They're all sitting there, glum and gloomy. What do they do? I don't know,
I think would it be one of the toughest gigs in show business, yeah. Starting off a karaoke at a wake.
Yeah, because there's got to be a great uncle or a distant cousin that wants to throw him a punch, isn't there, at some stuff along the line that sort of took it a little bit sad.
Yes.
And the others, I had one or two too many sherries and suddenly think, he's giving me the hump, that geezer up there, and clock him.
Well, presumably the chap who was running the thing would have to start off. Or, well, I wouldn't. I mean, if it was up to me, I'd just invite somebody to come on. But if nobody did, then there'd be this great echoing silence. So you'd have to maybe do one yourself.
Well, yeah, I'd have just dumped the equipment off, let them get on with it, and took the money and run, basically.
Yeah, that's it.
Got me equipment afterwards.
That's a good idea, yeah. But if you are listening, mate, then give us a call and tell us how it went.
Just something. I just want to know how it went.
All right. Thanks a lot, Dave.
All right.
Cheers, ta-ta. Let's have, Catford. Oh, Trixie.
Hello.
Trixie.
My goodness, it's all death today. Death, destruction, and bombs going off, isn't it?
Well, I just find this whole thing,
No, wait. What? Go on.
The whole Russian thing is just... Because we're all one removed, and he's not actually going to declare war on us, is he? I mean, he's not that insane. He's just saber-rattling. He's just showing what a big, tough man he is to his home crowd. So I find it all a bit amusing.
Well, I think you can only be amused. One can only be amused at this stage. I mean, human civilization has come this far. We've progressed so quickly, so rapidly. We're about to implode, or well, something like that.
Actually, we're about to explode.
Explode? We could implode. I mean, if it's going to be a bomb that's not going to cause any damage, is environmentally friendly, we could implode.
Well, what on earth does that mean? He didn't substantiate that remark. He just said that the bomb is actually environmentally friendly. How can a bomb be environmentally friendly?
It produces non-radioactive uranium, of course.
Right, it throws petals in all directions.
Precisely, something like that. Or perhaps he's found a way of manipulating the atoms so that the atoms don't, I don't know, do crazy, stupid things.
Yeah, they don't explode. They just rub up against each other in a lascivious manner.
Exactly, yes. Precisely. I mean, what else would you have?
But it is a little bit worrying, considering that the guy's obviously, a couple of rounds short of a loaf. And he's installing himself as a great leader forever and a day.
Well, aren't they all? I mean, you've got it's all the big nations are trying to do this, and we're watching the remake of The Omen today. The actual movie itself was not desperate.
They made a remake of The Omen.
They made a remake in, of course, I think it was 2006.
Why would they do that? They thought up a lot of exciting ways for people to die.
Yeah, well, what they did, you see, yes, exactly. What they started it with the things that have happened in this century, 9/11 and the tsunami, etc., etc. And then they changed the words in the Bible to sea of politics. So it was a slightly different start, slightly different scenes, but still quite good. And
some of the best deaths in movie history, by the way.
Well,
one in particular was a chap was driving behind a
Not in this one. They cut that one out. It was a different version.
One of my favourite deaths of all time, because blokes.
Yes, I know David Warner in The Omen, wasn't it?
I've no idea who that is, but
that was the Omen with the.
Who's David Warner? Well, he was driving along behind a lorry, and there were.
Right, and the glass goes.
Well, let me tell it. driving along behind a lorry, and there was panes of glass laid flat on flat as in horizontal, which is not how you lay panes of glass any more than how you store records. You store glass vertical, right?
Exactly.
But anyway, they weren't too bothered about that, and it didn't fit with the story. So he's driving along, minding his own affairs. Oh, hang on.
He's determined to tell me this story.
Minding his own affairs. And the lorry stops, and I think it's, but there's an even better one. I'll tell you this one, and I'll tell you the other one. It's even better. And the lorry stops, and the top sheet of glass zooms towards him and takes his head off.
I know, it was
brilliant.
Different. In the remake, it was different.
But they're even better than that. And they must,
They top it all the time in that movie.
Well, literally and figuratively,
That's
Trixie.
right.
Yes, they top it. You're quite right.
Exactly.
But there was the chap in the lift, which was the best death
that wasn't in the first
ever.
one. That was in the second or third one. Second one.
Listen to how excited she's getting.
Well, listen, excuse me. I've been through a cemetery today, peered into a grave, picked up a near dead mouse and put it to one side, seen a mummified frog, and it was my birthday.
Your birthday?
Yay!
Aw, no one cares.
No, exactly. Oh, you have to play that one, damn it. No, yes, I had to get that one. Yeah, it was a brilliant day.
But the best death of all time, and I don't think I'll take any argument about that, was in Omen, whatever number it was.
Yes, in the lift.
And the chap was in the lift, and he was right at the top of the building, and the lift plummets down, and you think, oh, he's going to die in the lift because it's plummeting down to the bottom of the lift shaft. But he survives that.
I know, and you think, oh, great. And then...
I'm going to send you some decaffeinated coffee, Trixie. You are excited out of your mind.
So you tell it now. Go on.
And then and then the shot goes to the top of the lift shaft, and the wires snap, and then two wires, or a wire connected to two weights on either side of the lift shaft, so that the wire is running between the weights over the centre of the lift shaft, plummets down towards the lift, and the chap's lying on the bottom of the lift cabin itself, thinking that he's survived.
Yes.
What could have been a nasty, squishy death.
Exactly.
But oh no, because the wire plummets down, carried by these weights, and slices the entire lift and him in half.
And right down his waist, so he's still alive on top, flailing around. Oh yeah, I loved.
You're not supposed to like stuff like this.
Hey, listen, seriously, I really did look into a grave today. I was kneeling down in the graveyard, and I did rescue a half-dead mouse.
Right. Why? Why were you there?
Well, you know, I wanted to do something different on my birthday, and it was a miserable...
This is what you did on your birthday?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, not a pleasant walk in the park, or a meal with friends?
It's like a park. Listen, cemeteries are beautiful. They are parks.
You wandered around the cemetery to see if you couldn't see any dead things?
I was with my mate Cubby, and, last Christmas...
Oh, well, you should have said she was with Cubby. Well,
we were watching horror movies at Christmas, do you remember, and eating pizza and things. So... today we had a lovely quiet walk in the same cemetery we were in Christmas time, but we got locked in last Christmas. But don't worry about it. And it was brilliant. We had a fabulous time.
Right.
And,
stay out of the cemeteries, Trixie. They'll be forever to be in a cemetery. Stay out of one while you're alive,
but
all right.
They're beautiful to look at while you're alive, and it's a lovely place to go and reminisce. Or not to freak out, but just to look at the gravestones, look at the architecture.
Right. Can I recommend Kew Gardens?
Kew Gardens? Actually, I haven't been there. Is there a graveyard there?
Unfortunately not, but plenty else to enjoy besides.
Thank you. Brompton Cemetery is apparently really good too. I want to go there.
Yeah, there's a lot of dead people there too.
I know, but I do think it's a brilliant idea having an environmentally friendly bomb, don't you think? I mean, think about it. Environmentally friendly. It's your subject there, Nick. But we won't go into that now.
Right. Good for you. All right. Thanks a lot, Trixie.
Glad to hear your voice.
Cheers, my dear.
Bye-bye.
Ta-ta. Out of her mind. The best death of all time, the lift scene. Because they had to top the glass taking off the man's head. But I don't think that there's been a better death in cinema, because they had to keep coming up with these exciting ways for people to die. And there was the horrible one where he's underneath the sheet of ice, and he can't get out. He's trapped underneath the ice.
There's a comedy one where the thing falls off the church and spikes
Oh,
him.
yeah, that's right. But for sheer invention, I don't think I can't think of anything that beats the lift. Because you think he's going to die in one way, but then he dies in a completely different way, thinking that he's got through it okay. But it's like all of those. It's just the nature of a Hollywood film. If you come to what you think is the end, and they've just killed the evil protagonist, they haven't actually, unless he's been found to be dead and then risen back up, and then killed. They have to kill him twice. They have to kill everybody twice.
Does that not frustrate you when you watch it? I get so angry.
It is a formula, but formulas in films work. Dopes like me will go and see it.
But I feel like I've been so on edge the whole time, waiting for this thing to die, or person, or whatever it is. And then eventually I think, oh, they're dead. Right, and there's no way they could have survived, no way.
Yeah.
But they have.
But it's it's just like an encore. You know, you think, thank goodness for that. But then you want a little bit of, you want your cream on the cake.
Isn't it because you get hysterical? Didn't you throw your wine up your curtains?
Yeah.
Even though you knew the ending of the film already.
I know.
What was that?
That was when I was watching, the Tom Cruise one. I've forgotten what it's called.
Risky
now.
Business?
No.
Top Gun?
No, I think it's Tom Cruise, where he's moving things all around, and the woman's in a sort of bubble in a bath, and she's sort of...
Oh, Minority Report.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, I'm not really describing it very well.
Yes, excellent film.
But I've watched it a couple of times, and every time that bit where they lean over and she goes... That just freaks
That doesn't work on
me
radio.
out. No, I
She
know.
just did the face thing, which doesn't work on radio. I'll take a snap and send it to all of our listeners in the post.
The Volkswagen Volkswagen.
I want to show you something.
Specifically, the smash hit musical Wicked, which has been casting its magic spell at London's Apollo Victoria for over a year, and you can win tickets to see this show with Steve Allen, weekday mornings from 5 o'clock. Wicked is the incredible untold story of the legendary Witches of Oz, and why they're called one good and the other wicked. What does that mean?
I think it's supposed to be why they called.
Why they're called one good and the other wicked. Wicked! It's at the Apollo Theatre with LBC 97.3. You can buy tickets for the show from the LBC ticket line, 0870 380 0973. But as I say, you can win them next week with Steve Allen, weekday mornings from 5 on LBC. Streatham, hello Pandora.
Oh, hello Nick. It's a first-time caller for me.
Right,
I've listened to LBC for years. When my husband was alive, he used to ring in. But I find that I've listened to Clive for years, but I do find you the most funniest presenter I've ever come across. I think you're a wonderful presenter.
Thanks a lot, Mum.
And you need to be on a lot more.
Oh.
I wish you was on more, because you make me laugh.
Well, you've got to have a laugh, ain't you?
You're a wonderful presenter. Try and get on a bit more.
All right, thanks a lot, Pandora. Cheers, my dear.
Your lady,
My lady friend, yeah.
tomorrow morning.
Say what?
Your lady you like is on tomorrow morning.
Oh, Gibbon?
Yes.
Yeah, she is, yeah.
Yes.
I will listen to her too. We'll all do that.
Yes.
All right, thanks a lot, Pandora.
Thank you.
Cheers, my dear. What a nice lady. Here is Epsom, Oliver.
Hello, Nick.
Oliver.
Another first-time caller.
Good man.
I was just phoning about last week. You were criticising the GCSE and A-level results.
That doesn't sound like me.
Yes. But, it's really demoralising for all these kids who spend, 12, 13 years devoting their life to all these studies, and they have so much stress and revision. And then finally they finish their exams and the media just slates them.
Well, no, okay, let me stop you there. The media is not slating you. The media is slating the government for allowing the exam, the difficulty of the exams to slip. And they're doing that so that the government can say, we know we've spent all of this money on education, but look, the results are incontrovertible. We are definitely making a difference. Whereas actually they're not making a difference. They might as well have set fire to the money. And all these A's and A stars and so on don't actually mean anything. And it's not the children's fault at all. It's got nothing to do with them. They're doing their best. Of course they are. It's the system that the people are having a go at, not the kids. Don't get sensitive.
There's not necessarily... I don't so much agree that the A's are getting easier. What's happening is that, well, actually there's a couple of reasons. One, I think teaching is better than it used to be. I know teachers are getting sued every 5 minutes, but, teachers care more about the students. They care more about teaching them. And so that directly translates into cleverer students. Now, I know, there are some stupid children. There's a girl at my school who thought the Ministry of Defence was a club. But, there's a definite split at school. You go into any school in London and you'll see that there's half of the kids that are chavs, and, everyone's scared of those in the streets, and it's the chavs who are taking photography and media studies and the soft subjects, and they are getting A's in that, and that is pushing up the A's in
Which is why schools are trying to push everyone into doing these soft subjects, because it's much easier to get an A, which will make the school look better.
But you got the other half of the kids who are taking the real subjects, the maths, the physics, the histories, and they're getting A's or close to A's, but they're being tarred with the same brush. So
well, no, but see, an A now used to get you a C. I mean, no, it's not quite right. What you used to get a C for will now get you an A. I mean, there's no getting around that. That's actually true.
Well, who says that? I mean,
well, the people that set the exams. I mean, virtually a day doesn't go by when the exams come out that the chief inspector of schools says it, and the people who set the exams say it, and teachers say it, and headmasters say it, and the CBI has been bleating on about the fact that even supermarkets, Tesco's, shelf stackers are having to train school leavers to read and write because the job hasn't been done by the schools. Now, if they're not coming out able to stack shelves, then there's got to be something wrong somewhere. And let me say it again, because every time I say stuff like this, I do get some child that's just been sweating bullets over their exams, and they've come out with excellent results, and think that I'm having to go at them. It's got nothing to do with the children. They're just doing what they're told, right? It's the system. And the system is, and it's the same with every government target. It's the same with the NHS. It's the same with the schools. Every time a target is set, because the system is run by human beings, unfortunately we can't get around that, human beings will just find the easiest route from A to B. If your target, and the police is a perfect case in point, if your target is to get, I'll stick with schools. If it's to get, 90% of your pupils passing, then they'll say, well, how are we going to do this? The easiest way of doing it is to get them to sit a lot of easy subjects and to make the pass rate lower. And then they say, job done. They'll have the statistics to back up the proposal that they're doing an excellent job. Meanwhile, you've got a lot of people who are leaving school who think they've done fantastically well, but in the real world, it's not the case.
Well, I completely agree with that. I mean, targets aren't helping anyone, and it does encourage the softer subjects, but that shouldn't invalidate or lessen the kids who are getting A's or A stars in maths or physics.
Yeah, but I'll say it again if you like. But what you used to get a C for 20 years ago now will get you an A. Well, it is true. Whether you think it's true or not, it is true. How old are you?
17.
Well, then you don't have the. If you were 57 and you'd been working in the education business for the last 30 years, then you might know. But if you only have what you see in front of you, then you can't compare it to what happened 20 years ago.
That is a fair point. I can't say from experience, but
it was hard. It was difficult, right? Well, yeah.
What if you took one of our exams now?
Well, I'd fail miserably because I haven't been studying for the past 20 years. My brain has ossified.
Yes.
But anyway, don't take it personally, Oliver, because no one's having a go at the children. We're having a go at the government.
All right, thank you.
All right, cheers. All right. My brain has ossified, by the way, and I've lubricated it by doing crosswords. Oh, I'm so very pleased with myself. The cryptic crossword on the back of the Daily Telegraph, I used to look at that utterly bemused, thinking, how could anybody get any of these clues? They don't mean anything. But day by day you start doing it, and eventually you'll look at it and you'll start filling them in until virtually the whole thing is full of letters that I haven't just made up, they actually fit.
Very good.
I know.
Could you get a prize for that?
Well, if you fill the whole thing on a Saturday, I think they give you it's just something pathetic, like a pat in the back. It's not even £1 million.
I bet you'd be happy with that.
You get a pen. And I'd be happy if it were a letter of congratulations. I could nail it to my wall.
Yeah.
But the real prize is lubricating my mind, because before I was laughably stupid, and now, as is evident, don't you think, I'm much more intelligent.
If you dream of being a
I'm listening, dear. You can talk to me.
Burton-on-Trent. Hey, Aid.
Oh, Nick, how you doing?
I am all right, thanks.
Yeah, I've just, I went down the bank today, and there's a damn queue there, I tell you. Well, I swear, it gets silly. I know we spoke about Sky News before, but at work they have Sky News on, right? And they're just showing people queuing all day long.
I know. Well, they were on the BBC as well. It's as though they're both working out of the same newsroom and just using different reporters. They've got a single thought between them. Yeah, and they were standing in queues asking people, why are you here? Oh, a ridiculous question. Why do you think I'm here? I want my money. Well, don't you think you shouldn't be panicking? No, I'm not panicking. And the guy said, I'm not panicking. And he just sort of smiled, and he wasn't playing the game at all. This was quite comical, actually. They picked the wrong guy. Yeah. And they said, because, you know, you get a TV camera pointed in your face, and people will do anything. They'll just sort of go along with whatever they think that the reporter wants to hear.
Yeah, I've never had that, luckily, but...
and they picked the wrong bloke, and he said, well, they say that you're panicking. And he looked at the guy and said, I'm not panicking. And he just smiled, and then the reporter was a bit stuck for that, because, oh, blimey, what do I ask him next?
But if you're going to draw like a large amount of money, the last thing you want is somebody sticking a camera in your face. It's like a mugger's dream come true.
Exactly, yeah. Did you hear about the guys, the man and the woman that went in and tried to withdraw £1 million, and the bank manager wouldn't let them? There was some sort of altercation, and the bank manager didn't want to deal with them, presumably because they didn't have £1 million out the back.
Yeah.
And the guy wouldn't leave. He sat cross-legged in her doorway, and she had to call the police. And the police took the customer's side. Said, well, you're going to have to sort this out. You owe the guy £1 million. You have to give it to him. Excellent.
Great. So what's next for giving, while I think about it? Do you reckon she could do the weakest link next?
I don't know. I thought she came off really well. I thought that, because, you know, people, celebrities, in inverted commas, I'm waggling my fingers in the air to denote, to denote that, you know, it's not really I guess she is a celebrity. She's on TV almost every day. Yeah, of course she's a celebrity.
When she's not on holiday.
But that's the idea when you go on one of these, charity things. It's not to make money for the charity, which is ostensibly what it's all about. What it's actually about is to put the celebrity in the public's face and to see if they can't come across as, you know, likeable and warm, so that they'll be able to charge more when they renegotiate their contract next time. And if that was the actual purpose of the game, then I thought she did really well. Yeah. Unlike the woman that she was with, who I just wanted to throw off that chair, which was comically high. They couldn't get on the chair. Why is it so high?
I don't know. Is it like the thing to make it as uncomfortable as you can?
Yeah, I think that's probably what it is. Yeah.
And Paul Carroll, she had Chris Tarrant's arm round her at the end.
Well.
Just watch your face squirm.
I loved it when she was going off stage, though. She was honking with laughter. She couldn't contain herself. And you just saw a glimpse of it in the bottom of your screen as she went off stage. But no, she did all right. I mean, I wouldn't have been able to answer any of those questions.
No, you'd come off really stupid.
Yes, I would have done. Yeah, and so it's relatively easy at home, shouting at the TV the answer. But when you've got the full glare of the media upon you, and you're stuck on what seems like on scaffolding, you're so high on that comedy chair, and any money you lose will be less money for the charity.
Yeah.
So it's even worse, perhaps, than earning money for yourself.
I suppose it's not warning signs around. It's health and safety have got to get involved in that shit.
Well, yeah, I would think so. Yeah, they should have like safety nets underneath those chairs, just in case
by the way,
anyone
do you know that flights, you can get details of what movie they're going to be showing on your flight now.
Really?
My mate actually found this out, and I really wish he hadn't done, because they're going to be showing Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean?
You just sort of want some drama chopping on the plane, it make it more exciting.
Well, I think if they were showing that, I'd walk out.
That might be a good idea. But,
surely they show more than one film nowadays. I mean, the days when they brought the screen down at the front of the plane and showed just one film, they're long gone, aren't they?
I don't know. It's been 6 years since I've been on a plane.
Right.
So I'll have to let you know
I think
about
I think on long haul now, each person gets their own seat back screenette.
that. Yeah. Oh, well,
Tiny microscopic screen that will show you things that you don't want to see, like Mr. Bean.
But I had an email from the place where I booked my flight from, and it's like, there's important changes to your flight schedule. And I looked against the sheet they'd sent me, and I thought, well, I can't actually see anything. I thought, well, I better go through this with a fine tooth comb. It must be something important.
You're going to
New York and Vegas.
Right.
And on the way back, all it was the plane was going to be 4 minutes earlier.
Oh, well, that's vital information.
Like
You want to rearrange your schedule for that day.
Like, that matters anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
those things never run to time.
Well, you'll still be waiting for 2 hours for your luggage, which won't appear on the exciting carousel.
Oh, yeah, I'm really looking forward
Yeah, you'll have an extra 4 minutes of nervousness while waiting for your bag to pop through the little hole there.
Yeah.
And it won't. Don't pack anything important, all right?
No, I haven't got anything important.
In fact, post your luggage.
Yeah, so I'll have to post it twice.
Yeah. All right, well, the best of luck with that.
Okay, I'll let you go.
Enjoy your in-flight complimentary peanuts with our compliments. Oh, that's two uses of the words compliments in one sentence. I failed this test. Oh dear, what a pity. Never mind. It's practically 11 o'clock. This is LBC. Here comes the bad news.
Abbott. Well, let's get back to it.
So, what were those lottery numbers again?
3, 7, 12, 21, 25, 36, and the bonus ball, 24.
Failed again.
Every week.
I know. Have you been watching the Jamie Oliver thing? Jamie's
Home
Garden,
with
or whatever it's called.
No, I haven't, actually.
It's actually very, very good. It's actually fascinating because I thought that his next TV programme was going to be a sort of make or break for him, because he did the whole school dinners thing, and the press are trying to play that up like it's a disaster, like it blew up in his face. He tried to do good, and the kids weren't having anything of it, and it's all Jamie's fault, which is absolute rubbish. Of course it's not. It's the parents' fault for not, it were gone when I were a lad. We used to have to sit there and finish our dinner. But I don't like it. You'll finish it or you won't get up from the table. But, Mum... Like that. Brussels sprouts. No, I like Brussels sprouts now. But back then, it seemed like the food from hell.
Yeah.
Broccoli, anything that was green, in fact, that didn't come as a spangle.
I was actually made to eat all my lunch, even at school. We weren't allowed to leave the dinner hall until we'd finished.
And lunch was served from the canteen.
Yeah.
Which you could smell from a different country. The smell of boiled cabbage. Yeah.
And the mashed potato that just wasn't like mashed potato at all.
Well, I'm sure it came dry and they just wetted it up. It was just white slop on a plate. But and I can remember the sponge and custard, which is my favourite bit. But the custard was equally repellent.
Yes.
I mean, it wasn't like proper custard. It was just, it was yellow and gloopy, right enough. But
or you'd get it really watery.
Yeah.
Oh God.
But anyway, it was vile. But we had to eat it anyway because there was no nipping out to buy crisps and fags.
No, I know.
And a can of Stella for the break.
Oh, it was hideous. I remember being made to eat mine once, and everyone else had left the dinner hall, and I was always a really slow eater. And I think it was some peas or something I just didn't want to eat, and she said, "You've got to eat them, just swallow them down." And I swallowed them, and then it all came back up in my mouth.
Oh, that's...
And she said,
don't need to know that.
And I had to.
Well, the absolute worst thing for me, and it's still something that I cannot eat, and I don't know why, because I like the individual constituents, but I can't take them as presented in a vegetable medley, which were tiny little cubes of carrot, And I don't really know what else was in there.
Swede, was it? Or
I don't know. It used to come in a tin, I think.
I know
vegetable,
exactly what you mean.
Vegetable medley, I think they called it. Which was absolutely hideous. But it seemed to accompany every dish, and that was the one thing that I couldn't eat. But anyway, that's how we used to eat. And people didn't used to be gigantically fat. In fact, we were, relatively svelte. Apparently, where are we now? 27. In about 10 years, something like half of the people, including children in this country, are going to be not just slightly overweight, not fat, obese. That's gigantic.
That's a lot.
It's incredible.
Because I think the people that were fat at school when I was younger, the very few that were, were really noticeable because of it. It was really strange why somebody was fat.
And now it's kind of strange when you see someone who doesn't show, way too much bottom when they bend over, because allied with the fashion for jeans that don't come up very high and tops that don't come down very low, now if we were all, pencil thin, it would be okay. But as we're not, that's got to be the worst fashion for the times. I mean, really, that has to change really quickly. Please start covering yourselves up, because when people bend over or kneel down, not even the Grand Canyon has a divide that big.
It's not pretty.
But the thing with Jamie Oliver, okay, here's the because the press are rounding on him in much the same way as they round on everybody. They build them up and then they knock them down, and by building them up, they sell the papers. And once they've sort of they've sucked all the juice out of that, then they think, oh, well, okay, well, now the only way is down, and we can sell a similar amount of papers because it's the same person, and it's it's all negative. Almost 500,000 children are refusing to eat school dinners following a government drive to put healthy food on the menu, and the reason why is because they're being asked whether they would like to or not. What would you like? Would you like a bowl of chips, and a fag? Or would you...
or a lovely healthy...
Yeah, or would you like a vegetable medley on a plate? Well, of course they're going to say a bowl of chips and a can of Stella, aren't they?
I was never allowed to decide.
No, quite. And it's part of this thing that everybody must be treated like a grown-up. Everyone's got human rights and blah, 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 and so on. Children used to get treated like children. You were told what to do, and if you didn't do it, then they thrashed you. Thank you, sir, may I have another? That bloke Oliver's going to call back now saying I'm disrespecting them. I'm not. It's just true. Mind you, having said that, I used to skip out when I was grown up in school, not a toddler in school, but when you could go into a newsagent's, even in your school uniform, and buy a single cigarette.
In big school.
Which was how we used to do it. I used to go out.
One?
Yeah, they used to sell them in singles.
Did they?
Yeah. This newsagent at the bottom of the steps outside George Heriot's school, I'm naming them and shaming them, it's you. They used to sell them in singles, yeah. I don't know why we bought... Well, I do know why we bought them. I never enjoyed it. It was almost like pouring Dettol down my throat. I hated it. But it made you look hard. One of the lads, you know. And I used to go out and buy a bag of chips with brown sauce, which was the thing in Edinburgh. Not vinegar, brown sauce. Now, vinegar, it cuts through the grease. So you only get a little bit greasy. Brown sauce adds to the grease. It's like HP sauce with water in it. So it just covers an already greasy product with extra added grease in the Scottish manner. It was delicious. Anyway... the number of pupils eating school meals has dropped by 428,000 in the last 2 years alone, according to a report by the Liberal Democrats. And what they used to get for school dinner were turkey Twizzlers, whatever they are. They came in a corkscrew shape, and it had turkey written on the packet. What was actually in them, no one has any idea. Jamie Oliver famously whizzed up some product to make
his own.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Much to the astonishment of the children who were watching it, who thought it was the most repellent thing they'd ever seen. But that's what you're eating, and so they took that off the menu, quite right too. And they took a lot of the other stuff that's making them wobble around like jelly, and they presented them with actual healthy food. Now, the last thing you want as a child is healthy food. You want ice cream, and you want sweets, and you want sprinkles, and you want everything covered in cream, and you want it right now. The parents' job, or the guardian's job, in this case, which would be the schools, is to swerve them away from that. I mean, they can have that if they finish their greens, if they eat the stuff that's actually going to make them healthy and impervious to illnesses. But unless they do that, then they can't have their sweets. You can't have any pudding if you don't eat your meat. Pink Floyd, that is, and they're absolutely right.
Groovy.
You can't have any pudding if you don't eat your meat.
But the thing is that when at school we used to always have, like, you know, every now and again you would get chips with your meal.
Yeah, of course.
You know,
well, there's nothing wrong with chips, as long as it represents a part of what you're eating and not the entirety.
And not every day.
Yeah. Chips and crisps in a sandwich does not a healthy meal make.
No.
Although a crisp,
can't beat a chip butty, though.
A crisp sandwich. I like crisps in a sandwich.
Yeah, they're nice actually. With cheese.
What?
Yeah, with cheese.
With cheese?
Cheese and crisps.
That sounds about the driest thing I could imagine putting in my mouth.
Oh, it's like it goes very well.
Outside of sand.
Salt and vinegar with a bit of cheese.
Oh, see, I would prefer cheese and onion.
No.
But then I suppose if you're going to add actual cheese, then
you
would
wanna
want
taste
salt and
the
vinegar.
cheese.
Yeah. The Lib Dems said the healthy eating campaign, inspired by chef Jamie Oliver, had backfired. They have demanded action to stop pupils gorging on fatty food. Why are the Lib Dems getting involved in this? What's that got to do with anything? So they're having to go at Jamie Oliver because he did the right thing by highlighting that children are eating absolute rubbish in school. Stuff that you wouldn't even give your dog. Stuff that you wouldn't give your dog, Lucy, when it's all venison diet. It was an absolute national disgrace, the stuff we were giving our kids. Jamie Oliver did the right thing. Nobody else did. No one else did. The government didn't do it. They were quite happy to sit back and allow them to shovel this cheap rubbish at our kids. And he single-handedly changed the system. Good for him. He achieved sainthood with that one thing. And because all the children didn't immediately clap their hands and said they wanted broccoli surprise, then suddenly all politicians think, oh, well, we've got an easy target here. I'll be able to get my name in the paper by having to go at Jamie Oliver. It's absolutely ridiculous. This week, Ed Balls. There's another one. I'll add him with Debbie Reynolds. Ed Balls and Alistair Darling. I can never hear that name without smiling. Alistair Darling. Ed Balls, the Children's Secretary, admitted that almost half of all children risk becoming seriously overweight by 2050. Well, I thought it was much earlier than that. I thought we were talking about 10 years. Almost everyone in this country was going to be a giant, wobbly, massive blancmange. Principally because, well, for two reasons. Nobody sits down and eats with the parents anymore. We all graze all the time, and if we are going to eat, we watch TV while we're doing it. So the thing that the Italians do and the French do, and I'm not sure about the Germans, I don't really know what they do, but mostly countries in Europe, which you go to, and you wander around and you see that the only fat people there are British tourists. Those countries, like Italy, for instance, they sit down with their parents and they have a meal, and the kids will get a little bit of wine with water in it, which introduces them to alcohol in like a controlled way, so that they don't perceive alcohol as being, a dangerous, sexy thing, to be like a part of their rebellion, which is how it is in here in this country. You get your alcohol pops and you go to the park, right? And then you get stoned and you throw up, and then you go and shoot someone. It's just part of childhood. In Italy, you have a little bit of wine with your meal with your parents. Controlled atmosphere. You're introduced to it, and you don't go crazy when you turn 15. So that's partly it. We don't sit down and eat as families anymore, and we just graze all the time. And no one, and because we don't eat proper meals in school, no one has got an idea of what proper food is. Children are leaving school and I threw it away, but they don't know where chips come from. They don't know that chips come from potatoes. Neither do they know that potatoes grow on farms, and they don't know that milk comes from cows. I mean, that is scary.
That really is, yeah.
Oliver, who campaigned for healthy meals after highlighting the poor quality of school dinners, said the sudden drop didn't shock him. Of course not. We just have to be patient, he said. Now, okay, here's where it gets really good. Because Jamie Oliver has been saying some good things lately, but it takes someone like him, someone who is who can get press and publicity, just to say something that we all think, but nobody will actually put into words. He says, we are literally 5 years behind America, which has some of the worst health statistics in the world. And that's true as well. Everything that happens in America used to happen here 10 years later. Now, with the increasing speed of communications, it happens 5 years or even sooner. We're going to have the crack thing. We're going to have the what's that speed that has taken over America now?
Is it like a crystal meth?
Methamphetamines.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
crystal meth. That's exactly right. Yeah, we're going to have that soon. We've got the gun thing. Everything bad that happens in America will happen here very shortly. And the health crisis, the obesity thing, it's arrived. We like to think of ourselves as a svelte nation in comparison with America, but we're absolutely flat out not. We're the same. It's just that you go there and people there are gigantically huge, and you don't see people who are, well, you do actually, but just not so very many of them. He said, and this is the important bit, let me just interrupt you for a second, he said, I am sick of people thinking kids know best. Kids need rules. If we let them have what they want, we have anarchy. And that's absolutely 100% correct, sir.
Do you need more time with Nick?
Anybody care what this guy thinks?
No! All right, so back to Jamie Oliver. So that's the part about him doing the school meals, and he was quite correct. He's also backed school lock-ins. He says he backed a plan to prevent children buying junk food by locking their school gates at lunchtimes, which they used to do up to a certain year. You weren't allowed to go outside at the school gates for lunch in order to... I'm surprised that they haven't done that now, because they're so busy wrapping everyone in cotton wool and putting cones around everyone in case they're dangerous. I'm amazed that children are actually let out of school. In fact, I'm amazed that they're let out of house to go to school. That will come. He says the idea is being considered, this idea of locking children in lunchtime, in North Wales, where pupils have generally ignored healthy lunch options introduced more than a year ago. The uptake of school meals increases by 40% whenever fast food is served. Yeah, but that is true, but it doesn't help, does it? He said kids should be kept on the school premises at lunchtime, so it'll be interesting to see how Denbighshire progresses. Well, someone's got to do something, and just having a pop at Jamie Oliver because children don't want to eat swede and mash is opportunism, really. It's whoever said it, and I don't care who they are, you were just trying to get your name in the papers. But I'll talk about his TV program, which I think is very, very interesting. I think it's a real departure in TV cookery shows. Remind me to talk about that later, all right? Here's Wallington. Oh, Joan.
Hello, Nick.
Joan.
You know you're talking about Putin.
Putin, yeah.
And I was thinking, you know, he sent over those rather aggressive aeroplanes. We had to buzz up there and look very strong back and everything. And
yeah.
It just happened to be before our arms fair, didn't it? And our arms fair isn't very popular here at the moment.
Well, I'm sure it is actually very popular. It's just that there were some people who are vocally against it. I'm sure that their hotels around the arms fair were booked up long ago.
Yeah. Well, I think there's an awful lot of feeling here now. You know, we're not very warm-minded at the moment. We don't really want to go down those lines. We don't like the idea of selling arms. And you know, they have a bit of aggression from Russia. Oh, isn't that blooming useful? You know, just to remind us we're going to need a bomb or something soon.
Right. Well, I don't think that the arms
fair... It was a bit
fair...
of a coincidence. It was a bit out of the blue, don't you
I don't think that the arms fair is much selling arms to us. I think... Well, I might be wrong about this.
No, I'm saying our...
I think our arms fair is selling our arms to the world.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I know, but, you know... I know it is, but we've got a lot of people who are against it here.
Yeah.
But I think they want to keep us with the idea that actually arms, you know, are really important things. Because at the moment, it seems like we don't have many manufacturing anythings. And so they're saying, oh, well, we've got to keep the arms trade going because it's jobs.
Well, you know what, Joan? It seems that the arms business is actually running the world now, and you could say that that's true of America, and I'm sure it's partly, if not significantly, true here as well. And the profitability of the arms companies are behind a lot of foreign policy.
Definitely, especially American ones.
And so you can shout and you can protest all you like. It's not going to make the slightest bit of difference because there's too much money involved.
But the very fact that they're saying, "Oh well, we've got to have the arms thing because of the jobs," and I was thinking of all the other unpleasant things that might be actually giving people jobs, but it doesn't necessarily mean we want to have them.
No, well, I mean, I think that. I think it's outrageous that the world comes to us to buy their landmines. I mean, what business is it of ours to produce landmines?
Appalling. It is appalling, and Princess Diana did a little bit. It doesn't seem to make a whole lot of difference.
It won't make the slightest bit of difference, as I say, Joan, because it's all about the money.
It is all about the money.
There's an excellent film which is both educational and very entertaining.
Oh.
Called Lord of War. It was just lately out, and it's got Nicolas Cage in it.
Oh?
Yeah,
when did that come out?
Probably about 6 months ago, or something like that. It'll be showing up on your satellite provider. But it's quite eye-opening.
What does it say? What's the message?
Well, the message is basically what we've just been saying, that
Yes.
it's all about the money, and nobody has any scruples or morals in the business whatsoever, and anybody that wants to buy anything for any purpose, be it mass murder or individual torture, can just show up, and as long as they've got a checkbook that will pass muster, then they can have anything they like.
And they don't really care which country's buying it.
Of course not, no. Just as long as just show me the money. Yeah.
But it just occurred to me, it was, very, very close to the trades fair thing. It seemed such a surprise that Russia suddenly got aggressive. Oh, suddenly Putin is a bit aggressive. It was totally out of the blue.
So what you're saying is that Alexander Putin is in cahoots with the government and all their mates in the arms trade to rack up fear in order to increase profitability.
Russia's all part of the arms trade, for goodness sake.
Well, it's
a thought, isn't it?
It's just crazy enough to be true. Thanks a lot, Joan.
Well, thank you.
Cheers, ta-da.
Bye-bye.
Let's have, where are we out at? Okay, let's have Sarah, Greenwich. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks.
Cool. Yeah, I just wanted to ring up and rub it in. I'm a bit younger than you, but... Oh, quite a bit. But I still remember being made to eat all my dinner. And I'm only 22.
Right. Now, you mean at school or at home?
Both.
Right.
And I remember once my mum made this horrible salad and it had celery in. And to me, celery is like the food of Satan. It's the most evil food.
Well, that's a perfectly reasonable thing to say, yeah.
Yeah. And she made me eat it, and I did a Lucy, and I just balled it all up. Which is stupid, but at the same time...
You did? Hey, there's a name for it. It's doing a Lucy.
Yeah, I used to think she was a right classy bird. She's like, oh, I bought my pizza. But yeah, I remember it.
Well, that showed your mum.
Well, not really. She still, every time I didn't eat my celery, she used to make me eat it.
Well, that sounds like torture. I mean, there's other vegetables. Why would she insist that you eat celery?
Because it's discipline at the end of the day. It's about appreciating...
Well, I suppose there's discipline, but you don't get any benefit from eating celery. I think you expend more calories eating it than you do that you consume.
Yeah, but...
that sounds like a cruel and unusual punishment. I mean, what about broccoli?
Celery?
Yeah, broccoli.
Oh.
Broccoli would be better for you.
Oh, broccoli's yum, with cheese sauce.
See?
A medley of broccoli and...
Cauliflower. Broccoli, cauliflower, and crispy roast potatoes with the cheese sauce poured over. Hey, you know what? Autumn doesn't sound so bad now, does it? It's dark outside and it's warm inside, and you got the TV on and the trays on your lap.
Christmas soon, Nick.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not that.
Oh, wait.
I'm not that disappointed that it's autumn now. At least we had a little bit at the end that was September. Because if we hadn't had the last couple of weeks, I'd have felt seriously cheated. But now, I'm okay with it. Because tomorrow is going to be 22 degrees. That's what the nice man on the news said.
Oh, that'll be... Oh, I can wear a dress tomorrow. That'll be nice.
Yeah.
Make the most of it. I was at the festival today.
Which one?
Thames Festival.
The which one?
The Thames Festival.
Oh, was that today?
Yeah. It's tomorrow, so.
Right. Well, I'm working.
Oh, sucks. And there was this woman, and I was just wondering if she was the one with the budgies, and she had these two budgies, and they would pick a card, like a tarot card, for you if you paid the woman money or something, and it would predict your future.
Of course it would, yeah. Because that's what parrots do.
And I was just wondering why. Do people honestly believe in this, or is she just hoping there's some idiots there who will...
Well, why do they believe in agony aunts? Why do they believe any of this stuff? They just want to hear the answer that they have in mind, but they just want somebody else to say it to confirm what they're thinking they should do is the right thing.
Oh, right, so they get a load of budgies to do it.
Yeah, budgies or, yeah, whatever, yeah.
I can think of more intelligent animals than budgies.
What, like, yeah, but dolphins are very hard to carry around.
That would be cool, wouldn't it?
Wander around with a dolphin strapped to your back like a rucksack, yeah.
No, get like, you know in America they have those massive pools with the dolphins and the whales and stuff.
Yeah.
Get them to choose get a massive pool, get some dolphins. Get them to choose the cards. Although I don't think that would be very ethnical, would it?
Plus, Shamu would probably have difficulty delicately picking one card from a pack.
Who?
You know, Shamu the whale.
What did he do?
Was
he Willy the whale? Free Willy? No.
I don't know.
How do you know there's a whale called
Because Shamu was the whale that they had to put signs up. If you sit in the first 10 rows, you will get wet. Shamu the whale.
Never heard of Shamu.
Oh, you've got to keep up with current affairs.
Well, obviously. Duh. I'm only 22. Leave me alone.
Oh, okay. Well, you should have said. All right. Thanks a lot, Sarah.
See you later. Bye.
Ta-ta. No, I don't think that our correspondent for
rock and roll
has two parrots that pick cards to determine your future.
Charles Edward Point 3.
Absolutely.
I never know where those are going to end. It's kind of an odd jingle. I was expected to say something else. Like the number, for instance.
What?
Well, didn't she say the number at the end, or did she say that already?
No.
No what?
No number.
She didn't say the number?
No.
Shall I do it? 0870 90 90 973. 0870 90 90 973. She didn't. I will. I've done it.
Well done.
Thank you. It was nothing. Bracknell. Hello, Jeffrey.
Yeah, hi.
How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Enjoying the show.
You don't sound like you're enjoying it.
No, I'm fantastic. I'm loving the show. It's
that's
absolutely
better.
brilliant.
Yes.
And your sardonic wit is, as ever, extremely...
Sardonic?
Sardonic. Yeah, exactly. Who was the lady who phoned from Warrington?
Pardon?
The lady who phoned from Warrington, going on about the arms exhibition in London at Excel.
Oh, yeah.
I've been a peace activist all my life, ever since I was young. When I read a hippie's badge which said "Make love, not war," I've been up for that all along.
Yeah, no action so far, but you're
well,
still
no,
wishing.
I haven't prevented any wars, and I haven't been too successful on the old Amur front. But there's still hope, isn't there?
That's right. While there's life, there's hope.
Yeah, hope springs eternal.
Yes.
Yeah. I heard, life can actually start even when you're 65, so it's quite good. But I was trying to talk about Ed Balls, because you mentioned Ed Balls earlier on.
Yeah.
And as you know, he's been the chief advisor to the Chancellor, who's now our current Prime Minister. And he's a monthly architect of Gordon Brown's brilliant guidance of the UK economy.
Oh, yeah. Hasn't he done well?
He's done very well, because he's taxed my private pension fund wonderfully. He's overspent on the NHS and wasted billions there, and the list goes on.
And in education, and we've got nothing to show.
Yep.
Well, the two things that he spent money on, he denied, when he was Chancellor of the Exchequer, he denied spending money on everything else. Everything else now, by the way, that he's just turned around and said, wouldn't it be a great idea if we spent more money on all of these things, which he refused for 10 years to spend any money on, like, for instance, roads and so on. But the only two things he actually spent a giant amount of money on, the NHS and education, he might as well, like I said earlier on, have set fire to the money for the results that he's achieved. People have got around it by the manipulation of statistics, mendacity. But
does that come from a Tennessee Williams play?
Yes.
Is it Cat in the Hot Tin Roof?
Correct the mundo.
Is it played by? Is the sort of elderly grandfather figure played by Paul Newman?
No, Paul Newman is the young, troubled family member. The man who stomps around saying "Mendacity."
Oh, is it one who's got sort of sexual problems? Is it the one that, you know, isn't there one who's sort of, knocked by Elizabeth Taylor as not quite being manly enough, if you know what I mean? I think it happens in there. There's that implication within the play, I thought.
It's such a long time since I've seen it, I can't remember.
No,
I get it.
Nuances, did you? You didn't get the subtle. You didn't pick up on that when you were younger.
I get it mixed up with the other one where he's romancing a fading starlet, which is also a Tennessee Williams play, which also has Paul Newman in it. So I kind of get them mixed up in my vein.
The interesting subject matter Tennessee Williams covered. Anyway, yes, Ed Balls. Yes, he's moving back to Ed Balls and the Brown government. He always, when he comes on, and you see him now, because he was just a spoken of figure, he looks like a head chorister to me. He sort of has maintained eternal youth somehow. And it worries me because the politicians nowadays that come on are just talking heads on news items. They don't seem to have any political gravitas or even any charismatic presence like what they used to have.
Yes. Well, I'm sure that they are picked. And that's absolutely right. The current crop, first of all, I've got no idea who they are. Second, it doesn't appear that they've done anything other than just being a politician, which really should disclude you from being a politician. You should actually have to go out and get some experience of life. Because if you don't have any experience of business, for instance, then how can you successfully run an economy if all you've done for your whole life is just marshal statistics to make it look as though you're doing a good job, which is basically what politics is. But, yeah, you're right. They don't seem to have any gravitas at all. They seem to be a bunch of kids. And the woman who's, I can't even remember what any of their names are. But
well, I'll give some clues. You know Ed Balls?
Yeah.
Is this great economist. And he is married to Yvette Cooper, who's got some kind of ministerial position, which I can't remember. But she looks like a grinning pixie to me. She looks so young. Or Twiggy's younger sister, you know, with a little bit of perhaps face surgery that's tightened her skin across, you know, because she's obviously an Oxford graduate. I think she's gone off to somewhere like one of them top American universities to do an MBA. But you're right, they're all theorists. They're all people who are operating out of, you know, some sort of political theorist or economic theorist book.
Yes, and anybody that runs a business will tell you that if you come out of university with a degree in business studies, it provides you with the knowledge to do absolutely nothing at all.
Except get the job that you want, and that's when the learning begins.
Exactly.
Exactly, because we know. I mean, look at someone like Sadat. You know Sadat. Now, when Sadat, because it might have been the big medals that he wore across his chest and the uniform, but he looks like a president. And so did someone like, I don't know, let me think, Nixon to a certain extent. I know.
Well, I think that it helps to have jowls. It helps to have a certain amount of lines on your face. A lot of the people that are pushed forward in blinking into the lights of the studio to explain the latest debacle don't seem to. I mean, they could be primary school teachers. You know, they seem to be untouched by the world.
Yeah, not worldly wise.
Yeah.
David Miliband and his brother Ed. They look like they could be sort of
models for the Grattan catalogue.
Yeah, exactly. Or even like who was that guy who got all the sort of top line coiffure shops in London and did a range of you know, you had to go into London, you had to go to so and so's hair salon to get your hair done. Well, Miliband, David and Ed, sort of remind me of those kind of guys, because they're so clean-cut, so well-dressed, and you said have no worried lines on their face whatsoever. But you think they're probably in the beauty business, rather, you know, the male beauty business, obviously, not the female beauty business, because that's all about tanning and nailing, you know, getting your nails filed, all that kind of thing. But, you know, slightly masculine-orientated, which is how to have your hair styled very nicely, so you look trendy.
Oh, I can only dream of looking trendy.
You're not bald, are you?
No.
Oh.
I've got hair coming out of bits of me that you wouldn't...
you haven't got hair coming out of your ears?
I didn't even know existed. Yes.
Oh, that's horrible.
Well, I pull them out.
Oh, that's better, yeah. Bit of manicuring, or what? No, it's not, what's the word?
By tweezering. I get to them with a tweezer.
It has to be done, I suppose.
Plus, your nose hairs as well, because if you're talking to somebody who's got hairs coming out of their nose, you literally cannot look at another... You're just mesmerised, aren't you?
Yeah, because it's quite repulsive, isn't it?
Yes.
That is probably the most repulsive place to have hair.
Well, you don't want to see anything coming out of anybody's nose.
Nothing at all, no.
And if they do have some stray hairs, or if they have, because after a while you start to get wiry hair coming out of your ears. You know, as a youth, they were downy and virtually invisible.
Yeah.
And if there was a light behind you, it just gave you, like a halo. But now if there's a light behind you, you know, once you reach 40, you've got hair coming out your ears that you could use as barbed wire.
Oh, and that's tending towards a sort of, what was demonic almost, isn't it?
Yeah.
Almost like a vampiric.
And then you get your dad's eyebrows, which seem to be going off in every direction but across.
That's a Healy effect.
Exactly, yeah. And you want to, and George Carey, there was another one. He was standing in his pulpit telling everyone how dreadful everything is. But I couldn't pay attention to a word he was saying because I kept thinking, oh, just take a pair of scissors to your eyebrows, mate.
Yeah, because we're a broken society, aren't we?
Yes.
That's according to the Archbishop of Canterbury. And he told, who did he tell off? He's telling everyone off, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
He didn't lash them, though. He didn't verbally lash them. It was quite a gentle telling off, I felt.
Well, he's a gentle kind of chap.
Yeah, but it's not Carey. I think it's someone else, actually, now. I think Carey's moved on. It's a Blairite appointee. That's another naughty thing that politicians do. Why the hell do prime ministers appoint bishops in the Anglican Church? Can you understand that? I don't suppose you knew that happened either, do you?
What I can't understand, I really don't want to get into religion, because then there goes the show.
Right.
But I find it a little hard to take that our so-called religious leaders are paid attention to so very much, because, you know, the Archbishop of Canterbury will say something, and it'll get a page report in the newspaper, and it'll get 5 minutes on the news, and this, that, and the other. Yet, you go to your local church of that faith, and there's no one there. So nobody actually goes to pay their respects is not quite the right word, but they don't play along in real life, and yet they're still accorded this great seriousness. Whereas as a nation, we really have turned our back on the whole idea.
Yeah, and we've adopted something much more sensible called football.
Yes.
It's and sex.
And
TV.
And celebrities.
And TV, much more. I mean, why listen to a man who could actually have some views and ideas on a moral subject because he's read a degree in theology, when you can listen to someone like Jordan, who's done absolutely nothing in her life, got 5 GCSEs, who's got about 10 million quid in the bank because she shows off her Bristols every year?
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, we live in a really sensible society nowadays, don't we?
Well, you know, and no amount of pulpit preaching is going to change the fact that Jade Goody is a millionaire. You're right.
That's true. And the local vicar is probably eating baked beans on toast at this very moment in time.
Yes, and using his cat to stop the draft coming from underneath the doors.
That's true. A live one, we hope, because he hasn't actually perhaps deceased it for that purpose. But, it is. It's a sad indictment of the way our society has just progressed in a haphazard and uncaring, unthoughtful form.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Such is life. Bye-bye.
Yeah, ta-ra. At least we've still got Ant and Dec. What are they doing now? I saw there were pictures, it was all over the papers the other day, they're back. Why are they back?
New Saturday night series starting.
Oh, great. I bet it's bland as milk. What is it?
I don't know. I think it's like their Saturday night, I don't know, whatever it's called.
Television has, because it's been searching around for a star since Chris Evans left. Really? I mean, he was the last man that actually made a wave, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Can you think of
on ITV? Did you say?
Well, anyway, can you think of a single person who actually made a wave in television? I mean, there's the old guard who were #1 forever and a day. Tarby, Brucey, Morecambe and Morecambe and Wise had their own thing. They weren't general presenters. But as for general presenters, just somebody who will front a differing format.
Paulie Yates.
Who?
Paulie Yates.
Who's that?
She was on,
Well, you don't need to explain any further. I've got no idea who that is. Paulie Yates. Oh, Paulie Yates.
Yes.
Right.
Longer around.
Well, no, I mean, she's... No.
But she... No.
No.
No?
No, definitely not. No, she was no big draw.
They thought Graham Norton was going to be, didn't they?
Yeah, I was going to say, what
they
about
did.
him?
Yeah, Graham Norton.
Not at all. He was for a short time.
Who?
Graham Norton created a little wave.
Well, he created a cult following on Channel 4, which does not a wave make.
Okay.
And the BBC looked at that and thought, ooh, yes, we'd definitely like some of that. So here's a cheque for more money than God. Can you come over here and do something completely different? In fact, we'd rather like you not to be Graham Norton. Can you do that for us? And that's what they did. They bought something that they thought was excellent, and then they did the same thing that everybody does when they buy it from one channel and take it to another. They did it with Morecambe and Wise when they went from BBC to ITV. They did it with Kenny Everett when he went from ITV to the BBC. So no matter which way they're going, they always pick someone who they think is great, and then they try to make them somebody else when they go to where they've where they've accepted the money from. Weird. So, Graham Norton, no, he ain't it. Sorry. It was Chris Evans who made a giant splash, and then Ant and Dec, and I think we've got a giant gaping hole in the middle. I don't think there was anybody else.
Jonathan Ross?
Oh, yeah. I suppose so, yeah. But you'd have... Yeah. But you had to say that he's... I don't think that
I don't know if he makes a wave.
No, he's more of a cult, isn't he? Because his show on BBC One...
Well, he's solid,
only gets
he?
about 4... I don't think it even gets 4 million viewers, does it?
Doesn't it?
I don't think so, no. So I think that he's more in the cult... As far... I mean, Ant and Dec are full-on Saturday night entertainment, aren't they? They're as family-friendly as you like.
You know what you're going to get when
exactly,
you see Ant and Dec.
Yeah. And that's nirvana right there. If you can be bland and smiley, then all the spoils of British media await.
I enjoy working with people.
Here is Robert from the Rondo.
Good evening.
Hey.
It is still evening, yes.
Only just.
Yes. So, this week, at the beginning of the week, I had the misfortune of having work experience at a newsroom.
You were the work experience?
Well, sort of. I thought I was just going down to meet the boss, but ended up me being work experience.
Right, let me guess what you did. You made the tea?
No.
No. You stuffed envelopes?
No.
You just kind of wandered around and did nothing?
Yes! Anybody who's had work experience in the BBC or other, ITV maybe, will realise that you just sit down and watch people work, because there's not enough work for them to do as it is.
That's right.
So you're there, so...
Even the workers there just sit around and watch people work.
Exactly. So when you come there, there's nothing for you to do. So they sent me out with a reporter, just to see how you put a report together and all this rubbish. Anyway. So I had the misfortune of getting up really early for Monday and Tuesday.
Did they do the noddy shots?
Oh, that was the... Oh, I don't want to give away where I was going, but we had a debate, put that way, with the boss, when they would discuss that no noddies will be taking place anymore on this channel.
Now, let me explain what noddies are. When you see an interview with somebody and it's on the news, what's happened is that a camera crew, which will be a cameraman and a sound man, the guy who holds that big furry phallic mic thing.
Not anymore, it's just a cameraman and the reporter, that's it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, the cameraman, presumably there's a light on the camera and the microphone sticks out of the front of the camera.
Yeah.
In order to save money. What used to be a three-man job is now a one-man job. And the reporter, and they're interviewing somebody, and you will see during the course of the filmed interview a cut back to the reporter, and he'll be nodding his head, to the answer that is being given. But if you think about it, that needs two cameras. One pointing at the interviewer and one pointing at the interviewee. But because there's only one camera, what they do is they do the interview, and then after the interviewee has departed, they then point the camera at the interviewer, who just nods his head and smiles. Which is why they always look a bit uncomfortable while they're doing it, because they're just nodding at nothing.
Yes.
And because of this great furore, is that the way you pronounce it? Furore?
Furore.
About lying on television. Now they've come to said that because it is actually lying, because the interviewer is not actually responding at that moment, it's a cutaway shot which is made afterwards. That's lying to the public, and we must ban this. Is that word again? Mendacity, which is just ridiculous.
the other conversation that was going on, it was rather ridiculous. We're cheating the viewer and all this. Well, all it is an editing technique.
Yes.
To make something look nicer.
But I always feel that what's the point of it? Because who wants to see the interviewer nodding? I mean, they always look uncomfortable when they're doing it, and I don't care about the interviewer.
Well, there are other more interesting ways around doing it. It's just a quick way of making... If you've got two people interviewing... There was a case this week that they were out in France interviewing two rugby supporters, and they sit next door to each other, and both had opinions. So you couldn't cut from one straight to another, so the man nodding in between was the cut between the two.
Right. It just enables them to make a cut without it looking like a cut.
Yeah. Exactly. But no, that's cheating. That's been banned now.
Isn't that ridiculous?
I have no opinion.
TV is just eating itself up. It's like a dog that's chasing its own tail. It'll calm down eventually, and they'll go back to lying to us again. And frankly, I can't wait.
The good old days.
Yeah.
So I got up really early, and I had the misfortune of watching GMTV.
Hey!
God, that's bad.
I haven't watched GMTV and I can't remember how long. What are they doing now?
Same old thing.
Same old, yeah, I would think so, yeah.
I was looking at a bit of a sad gig. I was looking at the history of television franchises the other day, and TVAM to GMTV. No difference. And anyway, long story. They changed from TVAM to go to GMTV to do new information and all that, but the viewing figures collapsed, so they had to just copy what TVAM did.
Yes.
Anyway. So, anybody remember a man called Ross King? A Scottish guy, showbiz reporter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Permanently tanned and smiling.
That's him. Well, I thought he'd either died or just gone away to do something else. Sadly, neither are true.
Oh.
Joke. He's on GMTV as the Los Angeles reporter thing now.
Well, at least he's 6,000 miles away.
Can you believe it? How the hell do you get back on TV?
Isn't that irritating? He got a gig to go to L.A.
Well, you assume it's LA. It's just a picture of Hollywood in the background.
It could be Croydon, yeah.
So he was reporting on this Britney Spears thing. Did you see that?
Da-da-da. Yes, I did.
So this bring me on to this topic of conversation. Britney Spears performed at the MTV Music Video Awards this week as a big comeback.
That's right, and everybody in the world tried to catch the footage on YouTube.
But they keep on taking it down.
Yes, that's right. And people just keep putting it back up again.
But basically what Britney is she's on stage. Apparently she's overweight. All this jazz.
That was ridiculous. Yeah, everyone is saying, oh, she's so fat. No, she's not. She's just normal. It just looked weird that somebody who looks normal was on stage doing a music video in her underwear.
Yeah. Well, basically, I think the people are arguing that her performance wasn't very good.
Well, she looked like she was stoned out of her mind, and I think the backstory is that she had a hair moment. Apparently, she freaked out when she saw what her hair looked like. This was probably just added to the fact that she realised she was under-rehearsed, and she's got problems in her life anyway. But she was having her hair done. And it was that sort of straight blonde thing that she came out with, and when she saw what the results of her hair stylist's work was, apparently she went nuclear, and it wasn't an environmentally friendly bomb. She just started throwing things, and she had to have her personal physician. Almost like it was like King Henry VIII. She had a personal physician come and give her some pills. It was probably a rainbow-coloured selection of pills. I could go with a couple of pints of them myself, which dulled the edge for her, which is exactly what it looked like. It looked like she'd had all of the edges rounded for her, and she just sort of stumbled her way through it, didn't she?
Some people compared it to a sloth.
Say it again?
Some people have compared it. There's videos on there comparing her performance to a sloth.
A sloth.
I thought it was more like a turkey performing on a farm before he was killed. It was ridiculous.
Well,
Anyway.
it wasn't that bad. What it looked like to me was a walkthrough. It looked like what they do as a rehearsal just to get to the camera angles right. So she wasn't putting very much into it, and she'd save that for the actual performance. Maybe she thought that's what it was. She finished and she said, right, ready when you are.
It was very funny. But what spurned from this is what I think is the biggest thing on YouTube at the moment, which I saw on BBC News today, which, if you've seen it, it will haunt you for the rest of your life, is this guy in America called Chris Crocker, I think his name is. He's responded to all the Britney cynics out there. I don't know if you can play it on the air. I think he's swearing too much, but it is the most disturbing thing you've ever seen.
Oh, is this guy who's crying?
Yes, he's under a blanket or something, and he's just screaming, "Leave Brittany alone!" And all this. And this guy, I thought he was an actor. I don't know. First of all, I thought he was a girl. No, apparently he's a man. He's not an actor. Look at his other videos. This boy needs help badly, and he's become a celebrity.
Oh, great.
So,
they'll give him his own show in the afternoon on ITV.
Jeremy Kyle, we can get on there.
Yeah.
I was, Parky's back. He's on tonight.
That's right, yes.
He's the new star of Saturday Night TV.
Every time he has a new series on, he,
flags off everyone else.
Yeah, he spends about a month before he comes back saying how terrible everybody else is.
Well, tonight he had all the young ones on. He had, Dame Diana Rigg, Michael Palin, and David Frost on. All the hitters.
Each of which is selling a book right now, I bet.
Well, David Frost, I mean, the guy is not that old. But by God, does he look like he's had some health scares or something in his life.
David Frost is ancient, isn't he?
I think he's about 67, 68. He's not that old. He's only in his 70s or something.
He's on Al Jazeera now, which I've been watching a lot lately because on British rolling news, all you get is Maddie news, and I've just had enough of it. And here we go back to Portugal for the latest on the Madeleine McCann case, and there is no latest. It's just the person standing there in front of the same place saying the same thing that they did yesterday and the day before and the day before that.
I liked what they did on 5 Live the other day when the listeners were so angry. They demanded they change the subject.
Yeah, that's right.
Although I listened to the show and they didn't really. Just stuck to the top of the hour and changed it 5 minutes before. But
yeah,
really funny. But so I turned over from Parkinson. He really annoyed me to this program called the 100 Most Annoying Moments in TV.
Well, that'll be Channel 4.
BBC 3.
Oh, like I said.
And anyway, they got up to number 50, and I was watching it. So I like a countdown show.
This is a program about the most annoying things on television.
Loosely.
Right, why would anybody watch that? Why would anybody watch a collection of annoying things?
I don't know. I like countdown shows. I like lists.
Yeah. Well, you're a bloke. Of course you do.
Exactly. So there's this show on TV which I completely forgot about, and I'm hoping somebody else caught it. It was on E4 at the beginning of the year. It's called Sex in Court.
Sex in Court?
Sex in Court, which is sort of like a high-class version of Jeremy Kyle. When a couple come on as defendants in front of a judge, which is a rather large lady, apparently she's a barrister, rather forward with people, and they have a proper jury made up of a selection of ordinary citizens, and they discuss the couple's issues, which I wish I could tell you on the air, but you'd probably lose your license. And
well, they go through their actual sex life.
Well, problems in their sex, what one won't do to the other, or, you know, and really graphic.
Right.
So this is...
Well, there's something to look forward to. I can't wait. Let's hope it's on repeat.
You know, it's coming back. It's brilliant.
Listen, Rob, I've got to go and pass the break, but thanks a lot. Okay. Cheers. Ta-da. This is LBC.
For that man.
Here we go.
That was just a little personal joke between us. Hey, so have you been watching The Sopranos lately? Oh, talk about fantastic. It's been great.
Hey.
People who are short and yet very sexy. There's been a, female fans have been, naming the world's sexiest small man. Why? Why would they do that? And where does small stop and start? And this is in the Sun today, and they've got an excellent picture. Well, it's just cruel, really. They've got a picture of the winner, and it's Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is the sexiest short person in the whole wide world, says a bunch of women who were asked their opinion. Also in the list were Robert Carlyle, Declan Donnelly, as in Ant and, Kelly Jones, I don't know who that is, Michael Owen, James McAvoy, Jamie Cullum, Lewis Hamilton, is he small? Mark Owen, Richard Hammond, and Tom Cruise is number one. But the the picture is, I never sit around the desk thinking there's stuff up at the Sun. What a laugh it must be. There's a picture of Tom Cruise, and it says, well, it's just Tom Cruise, but the picture is mostly sky, and is just his eyes and the top of his head.
Nick Abbott.
Hi, honey. How are you?
was a classic of modern cinema, a great comic film, but it's just, I just find it, and I think everything to do with Woody Allen is annoying these days. I think it just used to be funny, not so anymore.
I haven't watched it.
I mean, apart from anything else, it's just kind of annoying that he always puts himself in the character of someone who is unaccountably attractive rather, to hot teenage women. What's that about?
Well,
I mean, have you seen Woody Allen? Has he seen himself? If he weren't Woody Allen, and if he wasn't worth however hundreds of millions of pounds that he must be worth, do you think he'd be remotely attractive to anybody?
No,
He doesn't
I
look
don't
like
see
the
it
kind of
myself.
guy who would have women falling all over him. So he puts himself in every picture. It's either himself or the character that represents him, and women are just falling over themselves to have a hot intellectual sex with him.
But then I suppose if you had the power, you would do that.
I suppose
would you?
so, yeah. Mayor Ken banned pigeon feeding in Trafalgar Square in 2003. However, and this is the loophole, pigeon lovers and animal rights groups were able to get round the ban because it did not include the pedestrianised North Terrace, which falls under the jurisdiction of Westminster. So they banned it. They banned feeding the birds in every other part of Trafalgar Square, apart from beyond the line that is Westminster's turf, which is the North Terrace. You know, the bit that they recently paved over, which is, you know, I swear, you know, if you looked at London 10 years ago, is 10 years ago, and now we really have come a long way. And every time I see, for instance, the two bridges that are either side of the embankment rail bridge, I just can't believe that something that great has been built in London. It's not only they're not only two of the most beautifully realised bridges I've seen, but there's also one at the Tent, the once wobbly bridge, which is also a fantastic bridge.
The Millennium Bridge.
Yeah, I mean you can sit in the pub that's there. I can't remember what it's called, but it's got one of the best views of any pub in London, and watch people walk over the bridge, and it is as though they're walking on air. It's just a beautiful piece of engineering. And I just can't believe that anything that great's in London. You know, because for such a long time, London was rubbish. We didn't have any modern buildings worth. Well, we didn't have any modern buildings that were constructed, you know, post 1960s, and all of those were hideous, awful, brutalist concrete lumps, of which barely a handful are worth keeping.
Yeah.
And one of which is on the South Bank, which has been opened up now. It's fantastic down there. It's almost like being in Paris or, you know, some continental city where things are more civilised. You remember civilization, don't you?
No! That was the most beautiful thing I thought about watching The Apprentice, was the opening shots of London coming through on a helicopter, and it would just show all the beautiful views sort of going around the river and into town, and it looks amazing.
It does.
Angle.
Yeah, I don't know the film that you're actually referring to.
It's not a film, it's just, you know, The Apprentice with the Alan Sugar programme?
Yeah, but I managed to avoid it.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that was the best bit.
And so there's all sorts. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, there's all sorts of things that have improved London. Well, we've got the Tate modern thing, and I was waiting for so long for that to get built, and it was built, and it was like, it's a little. Frankly, it's a little disappointing because they obviously didn't have any money, and so the inside is, well, they haven't spent any money at all. The lighting's hideous, and the floor is awful, and they just haven't had any. They just didn't have any money, basically. I think because the building was so gigantic.
Well, it is huge, isn't it?
That any cost at all would be multiplied to unsustainable levels.
Yeah.
However, it is. I think it's the most popular modern art museum in the world now, which is staggering, really.
Wow.
They haven't got anything in there.
Just a giant escalator.
It's just a big building. They've got nothing on the walls, but it's incredibly popular. So they got that. They got the two bridges either side of the embankment bridge, which match the wheel. I mean, it's almost like joined-up thinking. It's incredible. It's things that you never thought you'd see in London that they have. And beyond that, somebody has decided that all the lights on the buildings all the way down the Thames are blue, and a particular type of blue as well. There's a couple of buildings that just gone up by Wandsworth Bridge that have used the wrong blue.
What?
So they need to get that changed, because it's a sort of a purpley kind of blue. It's not correct. It needs to be a very iridescent dark sky blue.
Maybe the bulbs had gone, and so they'd put in the new green ones.
No, they're brand new buildings. They've just gone up, and somehow they've used the wrong blue. They want to get that sorted. The council wants to stamp all over them. But somebody thought, let's have all the buildings blue, because I'm sure that the various developers didn't just accidentally come by everyone who's got blue lights on their buildings. Somebody must have thought, let's make it. Yes, exactly.
It is quite a new thing in London as well, isn't it? That lighting our buildings.
Yeah.
Because I noticed they do that. You know, a lot of other world cities, especially in America, they do it. You know, all skyscrapers, no matter where you are.
Yeah.
They light the buildings at night. They floodlit them, or they use...
Of course, that's not helping the planet anymore.
No, but who cares?
Exactly.
When it looks this good.
When it looks nice, yes.
But yeah, we finally, you know, caught up with the rest of the world, it seems, and it looks brilliant. I drive down the embankment when I go home from these late shifts, and I get to go round the whole curve of the river, and I see everything, and every night it looks... You know, I think, wow, this
it never
great.
fails to lift your spirits. Yeah, you're absolutely right. London is looking fantastic these days. It really is. And one of the things was the Trafalgar Square, where they blocked off the road that goes over the top by the National Gallery. Brilliant idea, making it a square that people can use, rather than just a glorified traffic island, which is what it always used to be, with buses thundering by, and you take your life in your hands, much as you used to do when you went to watch the changing of the guards at Buckingham Palace. And now they've pedestrianised that bit as well. It's almost like people are starting to think about these things. And feeding the birds in Trafalgar Square is something that they should have got rid of a long time ago. They should get the nets out. You know, they've got these sort of rocket powered nets that
they shoot out.
They shoot out and catch everything that's underneath them, because the birds can't. Not even pigeons can fly away that fast.
What happened to the falcon? Didn't Ken have a falcon or something that was killing
Oh,
it?
it was probably... They probably had to... It was considered dangerous, so they had to put cones around the falcon.
Tie it down.
And have it wear a luminous jacket.
Little hat.
A handful of activists have since used this loophole, the loophole that they could feed the birds on the pedestrianised North Terrace, to continue to throw bags of crumbs to hundreds of birds. You idiots. What are you thinking? I mean... feeding the birds in your back garden by putting, a little nut feeder thing, and you want to bring blue tits and, all those red-breasted robins and all those, delightful songbirds into your garden. Completely understandable. I like watching them myself. They're not pigeons. They're vile. Hopping around on their deformed feet. I mean, how many times have you seen that?
Oh, I saw a horrible one the other day. I've got a supermarket quite near me, and I was walking just through the car park, and there's always a collection of them there, so I guess someone is always giving them crumbs. And they all scattered, but one pigeon stayed there. And when I looked closely, this pigeon had died, and it was just literally lying there with its head stuck down, and all the other pigeons, I realised before, had sort of been almost pecking around him, and they don't even care, do they?
No.
Oh, it's horrible to see.
So, like I said, Woody Allen was right. They are rats with wings. Stop feeding the birds. I don't care whether it is tuppence a bag. Here is Wandsworth. Hello, Peter.
How are you?
I'm very well.
The Anchor at Bankside is the name of the pub you're talking about.
It's the what, sorry?
The Anchor at Bankside.
Right, that's the pub that's almost right in front of the Tate.
But I've got my name down for prosperity there. If you go along the Millennium Bridge, as you turn round, you see a big glass panel, and it was called Friends of the Millennium. I don't know how much I gave, and my name's engraved there forever, so...
Is that right?
Yes.
It's a fantastic bridge, one of the best views in London.
I had a wonderful time. When it was wobbling, they invited the then mayor and myself in my gear, about 500 people, and we walked over the bridge to see whether it was collapsed or not, so that was great fun. I enjoyed that.
I should explain to people who don't know, you are you're not a town crier, you're the town crier.
Well, if you like, yes. Anyway, what I rang you up for One regards from Tallulah. She's in San Francisco.
Oh, yeah.
She's sent me an email, so she said to give her regards. A very strange ad on the television tonight, and I don't quite understand it. Vinnie Jones and Vanessa Redgrave have made a new movie, but it's going to be premiered tomorrow in the Daily Mail, in the Sunday Mail. Normally you get old films, but apparently it's a new movie which has been given away sold with the mail tomorrow, a bit like Prince and his record.
That's weird.
Yes, they're advertising tonight on the television. Vinnie Jones saying, see my new movie, it's not going to have a premiere, you can get it tomorrow in the paper.
I don't want to see anything with Vinnie Jones in it.
And it's got Vanessa Redgrave on it as well. So.
Well, Vanessa Redgrave, yes. Vinnie Jones, no.
But why would they do it in a newspaper?
Well, presumably because it's so bad. Well, before I say anything more, are they advertising with us, Luce?
No.
No. Okay. Presumably because it's so bad that it's one of those straight-to-video things. And because Prince has sort of paved the way. And I've been listening to that album a lot lately, and you know what? That is a fantastic album.
I went and saw him at the Dome. Fantastic performance.
Really?
Brilliant.
He's still there, isn't he?
Yes. And I saw Elton John last week. I've had a sort of a month of it, and I saw Barbara Streisand a couple of weeks ago, and I saw George Michael at Wembley.
Wow, you must be a millionaire.
No, I'm just an LBC listener.
Right.
Anyway, Tallulah sends her regards to you.
Ah, very nice.
She sent me an email this evening, so.
Hey, Tallulah.
She hasn't got a budgie with her. She's apparently a budgie with a friend.
Right, well...
So I presume it's flying round free at the moment.
Yes.
Rather than a plastic box where it's in. Anyway, get this movie tomorrow and just let us know next week what you think of it.
All right, I definitely won't do that.
All right, sir.
Thanks a lot, Peter. Ta-da. Yes, that Prince album is was tremendous value for money, being as it was free. Well, it wasn't actually. You had to buy the Mail on Sunday to get it.
I'm really not. I love Prince, but I haven't listened to it at all yet. It's sitting in the bottom of my bag.
It is surprisingly good, and the more you listen to it, the better it gets. There's a couple of tracks which are all like, "Hey, baby."
He likes to do that.
You want lovin'? I got your lovin' right here. You know,
does he still say all that?
Yeah, all that.
I thought he'd sort of given that kind of stuff
Not
up.
really. There's one track which I skip over, which is all a bit it's just silly. You know, you go to the bedroom, and there'll be 3 dresses on the bed, and you pick the one you like, and then tell me which one you picked, and I'll wear a suit that matches.
Oh, you've remembered it though.
Yeah. So I skipped past that one, but really, it's a great album, and I wish I'd got free tickets to go and see him.
I wish I'd gone to see him as well. Can you still actually buy tickets?
I've no idea. I mean, he's been on for so long. You'd think there would be seats still available.
Yeah. I know. It's one of those that I think it's going to pass me by and I'll kick myself for not having gone.
I have seen him before, though, and I can remember not being that wowed, really. I think it was a bit of a Las Vegas show rather than a rock and roll show. I mean, he arrived on stage.
Where was it?
It was a big arena, Wembley, inside Wembley or Earl's Court.
I saw his Earl's Court
one of those places.
That was great.
Was that the one where he arrives on a bed?
Yes, that is. That was with Diamonds and Pearls.
Yeah, I thought that was all a bit silly, really.
That's great.
Ian was saying that, because Prince just kind of appears on the stage at the start. Right. He doesn't walk on. There's like, a load of smoke or whatever, or pyrotechnics, and then suddenly he's there. But the only one that he said there was a flight case wheeled on at some point, and the only thing he could fathom was that Prince is inside the flight case.
Well, he is little enough,
well,
I suppose.
He's not that small.
Oh, he is small. He is tiny.
Well, but not small enough to fit in a flight case. Well, I suppose you could get a flight case made Prince-sized. Yeah.
Exactly. But in that Earl's Court one, I just remember he did so many changes of outfit. Do you remember?
I can remember when I saw Luther Vandross, and of course he's unfortunately dead right now, but he used to be a big fella as well, who was always fighting with his weight. It was a continuous losing battle with his weight, and he did a lot of changes as well, but he must have been very conscious about his weight, because everything that he changed into emphasised the width of the shoulders, which went on at least a foot past the extremities of his own body, and were glitterised on the edge of the shoulders to take your eye off the tremendous girth of his middle. But every time he took his jacket off, all of his backing singers surrounded him, much as your mother would hold a towel up if you were changing on the beach. Remember?
Just to towel him down.
No, to shield our eyes from his unjacketed girth. Yeah.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
But I imagine Prince didn't need that at all, being a svelte little pixie.
Yes.
But you should I wonder if that album is actually for sale. Well, there's no need. I mean, he gave it away for free, so you can download it off the World Wide Web, right?
You can download it free, yeah.
Yeah. It's great. I think it's up there with his best, definitely. And this is a tremendous leap forward. This media in general is about to undergo an utter and complete revolution. And it's all about the internet and the media, and you can name any media you like, is burying its head in the sand. It's got its fingers in its ears and it's going la 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 la, trying to pretend that it's not about to happen, and it just absolutely flat out is. The music industry is screwed because nobody's buying CDs anymore, and that was just going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. You know, there's an entire generation that's grown up that doesn't associate music with having to pay for it. They just get it for free, and so now. The music industry has cottoned on to the fact that, and Robbie Williams started this. I think Robbie Williams sold his life for £80 million or something like that. That giant deal he did a little while ago, as far as I know, isn't just for his music, it's for everything. It's for his tours, it's T-shirts, it's, you know, he sold himself completely. And that's what they're going to have to do, because all of the money is now in concerts and associated paraphernalia, which is the reason that Prince gave his album away. Prince's last album, before this one, I bet you can't even remember what it was called. Wasn't it called, I want to say 3121, or something like that. No one has any idea. It sold 80,000 copies. 80,000. That's nothing for someone of his stature. So in other words, he was on to a loser. It doesn't matter what he released next, no one was going to buy it. So, give it away, create a wave of publicity, which he wouldn't have had ordinarily, because Prince was yesterday's man.
Yeah, that's true.
He was the 80s man, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He hasn't been hot news for at least a decade or more. And then do a tour on the back of that, and not just a tour, a residency at the biggest venue in town, the O2 Centre, for a month. No one has done that before. Neither would he have been able to do that. He would have maybe had one night, two at the most, if he hadn't have given away his album. But because he gave it away and made, well, I think an immediate profit of £250,000, something like that, which isn't bad, because he probably, in his studio, he's probably got 5,000 songs on the shelf. He could just pick them down. That's my album, and I'll give that away. I'll make a 250 grand, and then I'll make. Well, I mean, who knows how much money he's made off his concert series, but that's the future of music. It's also the future of films, like he just said, they're giving away films now, and that's going to become more... TV, companies that are making television now are cutting out the middleman. They're selling their TV programs direct to the public before television actually gets a hold of them. You know, big series like, it'll happen with 24, I bet the next 24 you're available to download at £1 ago, whatever it is, off your iTunes thing.
Well, I mean, there's already great things on all the kind of TV on demand and everything now, where I've noticed that if I am watching a series, I don't even have to pay for it. If I've only got up to series, to say number 3, I can just carry on watching before it's even aired on TV.
That's right. So all the traditional media outlets, in other words, the middlemen, they're doomed.
Do you mind if I say a few words? Thank you.
Right, we're looking for the papers, but they haven't arrived yet, right?
No.
Okay, so as soon as they come in, we'll be telling you tomorrow's news today. I suppose it's today's news yesterday, yeah. But before we get to that, this was in the Telegraph today, and this is, this is quite good. It starts, William Shakespeare was moved to ask, what's in a name? Well, in the case of Lavender Hankey, these are names of actual people. Lavender Hankey, Hedda Lettuce, and Stand Up. The answer is a hearty chuckle. Not to mention poor old Dwayne, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Dwoop. Dwayne Dwoop. I mean, not even Bob Geldof would do anything that cruel, right? From 1955, would-be MP Ivor Million to Mr. and Mrs. Lear's daughter, Shanda.
That didn't happen.
Shanda Lear, the daughter of the boss of a private jet company. These are real people's names. Shanda Lear.
Oh, a Learjet.
I suppose so, yeah, Learjets, yeah. That is really cruel.
That's
all
like
of these have been...
a joke on your kids
yes,
forever.
Exactly, yes. Are you listening to this, Bob? All have been unearthed by the compilers of a new book, Bertha Venation, and hundreds of other funny names of real people. It discovers examples such as Mr. and Mrs. Shine's daughter, Rain. That's Rainer. Rainer Shine.
Rainer Shine.
Or Mr. and Mrs. Dinette's daughter, Formica. Formica Dinette. Celebrities are among the worst for inflicting laughable names on their children, from Harley Quinn, the daughter of the film director, Kevin Smith, to Rain Bow. Bow, second name, first name Rain. Rain Bow, the son of actor Vic Rames. Rames? Where are we? 29:45. Just enough time. There are famous examples such as David's son Zowie. Zowie Bowie. What manner of chemicals must have he been on when he came up with that? Zowie Bowie. I mean, they must have had a little chortle about that, but then this kid's got to live with that for the rest of his life. Or, Jer Majesty Jackson, who is the son of Jermaine.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that one.
And then Michael's kids, Michael Jackson's kids, Prince Michael Jr. and Prince Michael II, which that's actually not that weird, is it? No.
It's not.
Sometimes names only seem funny when put in context, such as Dr. Diath, as in D-E-A-T-H, a surgeon, the Archbishop Cardinal Sin, and the head of the Freedom from Hunger campaign, Mr. Fatty. In other cases, they are simply weird, such as just weird names: Miklos Thunderbolk, Trodat Fishback, and Jennifer 8 Lee. And 8 is the actual number 8.
Oh, right,
her middle name is the figure 8. That's just weird. There's also a cookery writer for the New York Times called Bunny Crumpacker. Which doesn't mean anything. But I just like saying Bunny Crumpacker.
97.3.
Well, why didn't she say the number at the end of that? I always expected to say the number. 0870 90 90 973. She doesn't say it anymore. I'm being met with utter silence. Never mind. Hey, do you realise that they just, they've found a way of making chewing gum not stick? Because that is the bane of, it's the bane of our pavements. You go away to somewhere like Luxembourg or I don't know, Disneyland, you'll look down and you see the pavement is uncontaminated by chewing gum. You come back to this country and completely the reverse is the case. It's like the pavement's got a disease. It's got spots all over it. Well, now, the holy grail of fast-moving consumer goods has just been invented. Chewing gum that doesn't stick. In fact, more than that, it dissolves in water.
What a good idea. Why has that never happened before?
I've no idea.
Yeah, in water, though. How is that different to saliva?
Well, that's what I was thinking. Does it actually dissolve in your mouth?
I wouldn't want that.
I think it dissolves over a period of a day. So that unless you're like Alex Ferguson and you just chew and chew and chew and chew and chew, then it will dissolve on the pavement long after you've gone. From school desks to pavements, the seemingly everlasting mark of discarded and dried out chewing gum has been a constant blight since its invention. And really, we should be charging the chewing gum companies for cleaning this stuff up. New scientists have, scientists have created an easy-to-remove gum that could save millions of people from the frustrations of trying to remove gum from clothing or hair. That is incredibly irritating when some dopey kid puts chewing gum on a seat, and because you sit down on the tube and you don't examine the seat before you sit in it because you're just so pleased to have found one free in the first place, and so you launch your bottom at it before anybody else can get there first.
And then you can see them all trying to hide their
That's
smirk.
right. And then you realise, later on, why it was free.
Yeah.
The breakthrough by chemists could save Britain the £150 million a year on removing discarded gum. And you see it sometimes at night. Somebody will go out with what looks like a nuclear-powered water spraying thing. What do they call that? A high-pressure water sprayer thing.
Yeah.
That sounds like it's being run by Battersea Power Station. It's so loud. I mean, they virtually have to close whole sections of town. Nobody can get any sleep. Because that's some serious power that they have to get to remove chewing gum. And in some parts, I mean, if you go outside, like near schools, or outside pizza takeaway joints near schools, because they all go in, they'll be chewing, and then they'll spit them out. Yeah, I used to live in Tufnell Park, and there was a pizza joint right by Tufnell Park tube station.
Yeah.
You can't see pavement outside the doors of this pizza place for chewing gum. It's solid chewing gum, no pavement visible. And it takes an enormous amount of power and effort to get this stuff off. It's amazing that nobody's thought of this before. Experts hope that the new product will go on sale to the public next year after preliminary results showed that it degraded naturally in water and disappeared from pavements within 24 hours. Wouldn't that be great? So it just disappears.
Yeah, it's a very strange product, isn't it, chewing gum?
Really weird. You know what? I think it's the best-selling... In fact, it might be the best-selling single product in the world. I think that we probably... I don't think even pet food sells more individual units than... and it's specifically Wrigley's... Extra, the tiny little ones. Because as a kid, I always used to have the long. I don't even know if they still make them anymore. I
think they do.
The Juicy Fruit chewing gum was the one that I always.
And it always lost its flavour really quickly.
Yeah, and so you had to spit it out on the floor. No, I didn't. I was wrap it in the foil that it came in.
So did I.
Talk about an over-wrapped product. It had the clear cellophane on the outside of the packet. With and then paper underneath that with the printing on it, and then foil underneath that. So the thing that was wrapped in had 3 layers, and then you had the paper sleeve with the foil inner, and it was a foil and paper. So that's 1, 2, 3, 6 layers on a piece of chewing gum. That's ridiculous. One of which was to spit it into and wrap it up and put it in a bin, which I always did.
Because
I'm a good girl, I am.
You are. And to be fair, all the chewing gum has always had, since I can remember, on the back, the little man putting the chewing gum in the bin.
That makes a huge difference, doesn't it?
Yeah.
A British start-up company behind the invention hopes to tap into a global market worth £5 billion. See, a bunch of guys in white coats came up with some additive that you stick in chewing gum that makes it not stick to things.
And how does this affect us when we're eating it?
It makes you grow an extra set of ears. I don't know.
But, there's nothing to say that's good for us, is it?
Well, I'm sure that chewing gum isn't.
Well, you're supposed to only chew gum for 20 minutes, aren't you?
Really? I couldn't ever get that long. Like 5 minutes tops. I mean, once the taste goes, it's out.
Yeah, but the chewing gum these days, the taste stays in for ages.
Really?
Yeah, the mint ones, yeah.
When put in a test tube of water, the new gum, nicknamed clean gum, dissolves, while conventional gum still persists as a cud. Conventional gum I think it's one of those products that never disappears. Come the end of the world, once Putin has finally flipped his lid and lost his mind, and bombs us all to death with his environmentally friendly bombs, the only thing that will survive, cockroaches, chewing gum. That's it. That will be the result of thousands of years of Western not just Western, but civilization in general, will be down to that. Chewing gum. 20 people have tested the gum, including including a professional chewing gum expert from Italy.
Oh, that sounds like a good job.
They had to fly one in. For taste and texture and so on. Ours is among the top in blind tests, Professor Cosgrove told the Festival of Science. Flavour release with an initial burst was similar, and there were no side effects such as mouth irritation. Well, that's good. It doesn't set your mouth on fire while you're chewing it. The additive is expected to be approved for use before the end of the year, and the gum launched commercially next year.
So if you chewed it all day long, would it disappear from your mouth?
Well, presumably, yes. It would just get smaller and smaller. But who would do that, apart from, as I say, Alex Ferguson, who never seems to have chewing... Oh, no, he does. Alex Ferguson chews the gum during the course of the game, and always, once the game's finished, once the final whistle is blown, he takes it out of his mouth and throws it on the pitch.
Can you imagine how many pieces of chewing gum are on the pitch from him?
Around the dugout at Old Trafford, you virtually need waders to get through it. Put it in the bin, man. Anyway, that's one of the holy grails of science. These guys are going to make all the money that Bill Gates doesn't own. Can you imagine the chewing gum that gets sold in the world? As I say, Wrigley's Extra is I think it's the fast moving consumer good, FMCGs, which are all those sweets that you see in the newsagents.
Yes.
Nothing sells more than that product right there. Not Mars bars or Twix or Pedigree Chum or Kitty Cat or any of that stuff.
I can understand it. It's not going to make you fat either, is it? Instant fresh
Although
breath.
I always feel hungry when I eat them. You know, you fill your stomach
it makes
with...
your stomach acids
Well, yeah, that's right.
It?
You fill your stomach with saliva, and it tells your brain that there's food on the way.
Yeah.
So I don't think it actually helps. It doesn't help...
But often people do chew it, don't they, just as a way to not snack on things.
Yeah, but I think it's a self-defeating thing.
Probably.
Dentists say you should chew it afterwards, after you've eaten.
But not for long.
Yeah. The other thing that is the holy grail of science, and I cannot believe that nobody has come up with this yet. And anybody that plays the game will be nodding their head in agreement. We're still stunned that we have to go and search for the damn thing. Is a golf ball that you can find in the rough. All you need is just some little thing inside the golf ball and a cheap handheld tracker that just... You wouldn't need a screen to show you where it is. You could just wave the thing around and it beeps louder when you're pointing at it. Because that is just so annoying. The amount of balls that I'll lose 5 balls on the tee.
So you're good then?
I am rubbish. Golf is the world's most expensive sport for me, just because I get through so many balls.
It's a very frustrating sport.
They're not very expensive individually, but when you lose 1,000 of them in each game, then it really mounts up. But no, somebody's got to get their head around that.
If that's happening, though, really, you want to give up the game, don't you?
Yes. Every now and again,
There's no hope.
Every now and again, you'll hit the most perfect shot, which will go, by pure chance, exactly where you intended it to go, and you think, wow, I've really got this game licked. And it will almost make up for the incredible, hair-pulling, manic frustration that you've endured throughout the whole of the rest of the afternoon.
Yeah. I know. I'm hopeless. But again, if I do one nice one, where you just feel it lift up in the air, make that nice little noise.
That's right. When instead of jarring through your entire body, it hits it sweetly, and it goes just that little. It's a thwack, isn't it? It's a tock.
Yeah.
It's a tock. It's exactly what it is.
But apparently, it's all in your wrists. You mustn't use your wrists. I was told.
Oh, really?
Whenever I do it, I use this action, and you must keep that arm straight.
See, this is radio, Luce.
You must keep your left arm straight.
Right.
No bending of your elbow.
I must get lessons.
You must. Now I feel I've had some, from my father.
Don't try too hard. I think the best thing to do, and this usually works when I do remember to do it, is just completely relax and don't try and hit it very hard. And then it seems to go so far. I mean, some of the shots that I've hit when I've been relaxed are still in orbit.
Come on, we're running late!
Let's have Battersea. Hello, Franco.
Hello there. How you doing?
I'm all right, thanks. How are you?
Good. Fine. Well, last time I spoke to you, I was actually on holiday in the south of France.
How was it?
Very good. Yeah. 960 kilometres later, yeah, I'm back here.
Was it Nice?
It was very nice, yes. Anyway,
did you get by on your schoolboy French?
Just about, but because I've got quite a good knowledge of Italian, it kind of helps.
Right,
but not always.
It's all Latin.
But,
yeah. I find it extraordinary how much from my schoolboy learning, and I wasn't paying attention at all at the time, actually comes back. It's and it just sort of comes out of you, and you think, blimey, how did I do that?
Yes. Yeah, well, I found the same thing, really, you know. And, yeah, it can come in handy. I like to make the effort in speaking a language.
Well, otherwise they'll spit in your soup. Yeah.
Well, yeah, not expecting, everyone else to speak English, but there we are. That's just my attitude.
But, I mean, imagine, we're very arrogant about the English language, but imagine if you were in a shop and somebody came in and just spoke French at you, as we do when we go abroad. And if, at first, we don't understand, they simply repeat what they said louder.
And more slowly.
Yes, as though that would help.
Yeah, as if it would. Anyway, I don't play golf, as you well know. My sport is cycling, but I saw an interesting. It wasn't a documentary, but someone promoting about this golf club, which allows you to swing the ball quite nicely. What happens is that if you kind of all of a sudden make a sudden movement, the shaft of the club actually flexes, so it doesn't allow you to hit the shot, if you see what I mean. So providing you as you swing back and gently kind of follow through, you can basically get your tempo right and hit the ball far. I don't know what the product's called.
Every so often you'll see on these sports channels an advert for some new club, and they all promise you that it will go longer and straighter and truer than any club that you've ever used before. Eventually it'll just be, just pick the ball up and go and put it near the hole.
But I think this is just specifically for helping you perfect your stroke, sort of.
Right.
So there we are. I was going to call up earlier about funny surnames, but I better not. This one was particularly rude, and I don't want to upset anyone.
Right, so pop it on a postcard and stick it in the post.
I think maybe Lucy might have put it on a bit of paper for you.
All right, I'll look forward to reading that later. Thanks a lot, Franco.
All the best.
Cheers,
Bye-bye.
ta-da. Yeah, do you remember your schoolboy French?
Yeah, a little bit. Un petit peu.
Yeah, well done. Yes. What's Chris?
No, don't.
No,
that was the name that he wanted to say to you, but we're not going to say it.
That wasn't rude. Oh, yes, it is rude. When you run it, yeah, okay. And people will be going, what is it? What is it? Not worth it. It's not worth it. So I was talking a little while ago about Jamie Oliver's new show, which I do find fascinating, because he did... You haven't seen it, right?
Well, I saw a tiny bit at the end of it where he was talking about some herbs.
Right. Well, anybody's seen the Jamie Oliver show? We've got a little bit of the programme left. Do you want to talk to me about it? 0870 90 90 973. I find it... It was a difficult point in his career, because he'd done his cheeky, chappy, urban thing where he got all his mates around, and it was kind of like a London episode of Friends with cooking. And he was sliding down the banisters and, doing all that sort of inner-city oikery. And then he changed to being the saviour of Great Britain's youth by opening these restaurants and taking in various undesirables and ne'er-do-wells, which never really appealed to me. I mean, you want somebody who's cooking your food to have excellent personal hygiene, don't you? Not someone who lives in a box.
I sort of like seeing people, learning to graft and get a skill. I thought that was quite good.
But plus, they were always shouting and moaning and complaining, and in the manner of a reality TV program. No, I don't want to, and I don't like it, all that. And what was the programme that he had after that? And then, well, then of course he had the school dinners thing.
Yeah.
When he was elevated to sainthood. Let me just take this one here before I go on and on and on about it. Dagenham, hello, Paul.
Oh, hello. This a language thing, you know, when you go in a shop and you don't know someone's language, really, I can't see it being a problem. The thing is, I only know English, right, but if you go in a foreign shop, if all you need is a pad and a pen and draw the item you want, and, you know, let's face it, pictures are universal, aren't they?
Right, okay, I'll remember that. Thanks a lot, Paul.
Now, would you like the papers, sir?
Yeah, I'll look at them, yeah. I'll look at the
lift's not
pages.
working, so you'll have to bear with me running down 3 flights of stairs and back.
Oh, well, where's Alex? Can't he do it?
Oh, actually, he can hear you next door in the other studio, so he's going to run down.
Good man.
It's good exercise for him,
Yeah,
isn't
it is, yeah. Anyway, where was I?
Sorry, Jamie.
Jamie Oliver, that's right. And so he elevated himself, or we elevated him to sainthood for taking turkey Twizzlers off the menu in schools. Thank you, Jamie. And of course, politicians are having a go at him, and where politicians go, newspapers will follow, or the other way around. And so people are having a bit of a pop at Jamie. And I thought, what's he going to do with this new series? It's a bit of a career moment for him, because where can you go from now on? And he's kind of reinvented himself as a character from The Good Life. Now he's got this garden with the. It's
well,
like
he's family man, isn't he?
Yeah, he's gone to an idyllic piece of ye olde England. Really, it's of England crossed with Italy. So he's got this big garden, and he's got his gardener who's helping him out, and he's coming up with all this stuff. And apparently he went to Channel 4, and they said. He said what he wanted to do. He said, I want to just, you know, cook my own, grow my own vegetables and so on, and cook them, and that's going to be the new series. And Channel 4 said, no. We want another campaigning thing. We want another sort of reality campaigning programme in the manner of the school dinners thing.
Yeah.
And Jamie, quite right, having spent the last 2 or 3 years trying to get that going, said he didn't want to do that. And Channel 4 said, well, that's what we want. And so, this is great. And this is also part of that cutting out the middleman thing that's happening with the music industry and the films and the TVs and the whole and all of that. He borrowed the money and he made the series himself. I think he basically gave him the finger and said, right, I'm going to do it myself.
Through his a private production company. Yeah.
Did it himself and then took it to Channel 4 and said, right, here's the programme, do you want it or not? And of course, they said, yes, please. And it probably cost them way more than it would have done had they made it with him in the first place.
Yeah.
So, once again, I think I do actually think that Jamie Oliver is a great force for good. Thanks, Alex.
Yeah.
But the key difference to the show that he's doing now to every other cookery programme that I have ever seen, well, first of all, it seems quite inexpensively done. And when he's cooking, it seems to be all one take, mostly. He's in the garden, his fingers are dirty, he's, you know, covered in soil, and it doesn't look very hygienic, but it's just actually real and organic.
Yeah, sure.
And sort of vibrant, as opposed to clean and antiseptic, which most kitchens on TV are. But the key thing is, every cookery show I've ever seen is someone showing you how to cook. What Jamie Oliver's new series is someone actually cooking. And that's a massive difference. It's not someone demonstrating how to cook, it's someone actually cooking. It's just
from start to finish.
It's just a film of someone actually doing it, rather than a film of someone showing you how to do it.
Yeah.
Do you see what?
Without it all sort of accurately
put
out, all the, you know.
It's just as though we happened to stumble upon him in his garden while he was doing it, rather than here we are set up and everything's prepared in advance and this is how you do it. It's just like you're over at Jamie's place. So I think he's actually moved the entire genre. I hate that word, but it's the only one I could think of. He's moved the whole G word on.
Yeah. And does it make you feel like you could cook the food as well?
Absolutely not.
Where does your...
Come on, we're running late!
Well, the papers have come in very, very, very late, so I've got precious little time to go through them, so it's going to be front pages only. Well, I'll do the tabs first, because they're all the same, every single one of them. The Daily Mail, Maddie, police, torture, trial. Senior Portuguese detectives jointly in charge of the investigation into the disappearance of Madeleine McCann is set to face a criminal hearing into alleged cover-up involving another missing... Oh, anyway, they're discussing whether the Portuguese police are actually decent human beings. Police to act out Maddie tragedy, Sunday Express, Daily Star, Maddie, the missing journey, and then... but also you wouldn't expect the Daily Star to have a front page without any sex on it, and I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 boobs on the front page.
10 boobs,
Yeah.
or is that 5 pairs?
Well, 5 pairs.
Okay.
or 6 if you count Iggy Pop, who, as is his wont, got his shirt off, and it looks like... Well, his skin looks like parchment now. It looks like... it's just, put your shirt on, mate.
Oh, we don't want to see that.
Study hell. Me in the crowd, his boot marks go up to my elbow. Anyway, I don't know what that is. News of the world. Britney's 2 million... What's that? Also another Maddie story. Sunday Mirror. And the Peephole. It's all very, very miserable. The Independent does, on the front page, big picture of, Duini.
Want to score some pot?
It says the official verdict on a huge youth crime. Up to threat to the social fabric of Britain. Well, up to 90 wear shoes. The two aren't necessarily connected. I would young people use the drug. It's the paper that was campaigning for years, and now they're saying, "Oh, you know everything that we said." Just pretend that we didn't say anything like that. The Sunday Times. Well, it's about the bank. Bank, rescued by the Bank of England last week, could see as much as 12 billion of its deposits withdrawn by worried savers. My question would be, is this an excellent time to buy shares in Northern Rock? Because they dip... Which is unprecedented for a blue-chip company. We all pile our money into shares, and then we'll be drinking Bollinger for the rest of our lives.
Good idea.
Or is it? I don't know. Yeah, so that's that. Thing. Angry savers force bank to be sold. The Sunday Telegraph. Chief Executive appeals for bidder. Ministers must explain. Without medics, that whole thing, we're really not taking care of. But we're not. Don't join the army. They don't care. That's true. Join a supermarket. At work. And the as UK bank chaos grows. So, if lunch, really? You'd have tales of hot celebrities having a you will. Who's next?
Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis. Back Wednesday for